Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here, Monday morning, Monday moment. And we're looking at the rookies weekend, talking about the TFC game that they went to, and also a clip that came out yesterday on AJ Lawson's Instagram of the young Raptors singing "Oh Canada." And obviously, they're running practices and around each other. The new guys are integrating with the rookies from last year and other young players on the Raptors team right now, which is awesome. Awesome. They're getting apparently right now they're having a mini training camp to figure out the summer league roster. So there's a bit of workouts and trying people out from all over the place to be on the summer league, a team for Toronto Raptors to represent them in Las Vegas in the next 2 weeks. So down at OVO, there's a lot of different players coming in, and I have no idea who all the players are. They're going to be on a certain level, and the more we find out, the more we'll let you guys know down the road. But yeah, they're doing workouts at OVO to figure out the summer league roster. As of yesterday, they were for sure. So yeah, let's check out the chat and do all the regular stuff we do on the show. Classic card, Instagram stories, all that kind of stuff. Trevor J is back and first in on the comments, and this is the first day in a while. And I'm glad to see the Commissioner of Fun is back in his spot. Everything you need, you just have to get. You just have to get to it today. Remember, nothing is possible when you have God's grace and mercy to see another day, another week. So give him all praise today. All right, yeah. Give praise to God and the Creator for having this world, and be grateful that you are a conscious entity in that world. There you go. I can get behind that. Trevor's saying that the Chicago Sky beat the Los Angeles Sparks. Angel Reese, right? Angel Reese, right? Not Angela Reeves. 24 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists. She's leading the WNBA with double doubles this season. She did this last year too, though. I believe she was leading the league in double doubles last year too as a rookie. So this is not surprising to me. It is good that they finally have been winning more. Chicago in the WNBA, they had a really bad start this season, but beating the Sparks is good. I know that the Sparks aren't the powerful juggernaut in the league that they have been in the past years. There's been periods of time where the Los Angeles Sparks were a real force in the WNBA, but they're not totally at their top power currently. We think back to the days of Lisa Leslie on the Sparks and stuff like that. But very interesting. Yeah, there's some WNBA action yesterday. No games today, guys. And checking in on our WNBA league, the results from this past week are that Meredith pulled out the win over Kareem in a very close game. He got him in the end on the last day. So he goes to 4-2, and Kareem's even at 3-3. Trucker Kaz goes to 4-2 also with a victory over Reese's Nieces. James got his first win of the season over Edmond. Fiercey goes to 5-1. One of the best records in the league over Mike winning her matchup against Logical Raptors Fanatic. And then I beat Cool Cat, and I went to 5-1 also. So Fiercey and I are 1-2 in the fantasy WNBA league right now at 5-1 records. Yeah, and her only loss is to me. So she's very, very powerful this year in the WNBA fantasy. MK is not top dog for the season right now. And if MK is going to repeat as champion for the third time, he's going to have some work to do in the playoffs. That's for sure. That's right. There you go. There's our WNBA fantasy check. Y'all set your lineups for this week. I know I'm playing you full ass. Kareem, you're getting to play me this week. So be ready, buddy. Be ready. Trevor's saying that it was very nice to watch CBL game in the U.S. So, yeah, you can get the app and watch CBL down south. Of course, CBL games do not occur in the United States. They only happen on Canadian soil because it's the Canadian Elite Basketball League. But if you can get the app, you can watch the games down there. And, yeah, Trevor was talking about it on our Discord or on our Facebook a little bit about watching the Niagara River Lions play yesterday. Yeah, it's fun, man. Trevor, I went to a CBL game last Sunday and saw Scarborough kick Niagara's butt. last Sunday afternoon, and they beat them by 30, man. It was 102-70. It was a crazy game. And O'Shea Brissett was there, and I got to dap him. I said, O'Shea, dap. But yeah, I'm going to start going to more CBL games, especially if the Raptors start to go down south. This is the thing that could happen is, their money that gets spent on them may be diverted to other things like the Canadian Elite Basketball League and the WNBA. That people of conscience, people that are pissed, people that, don't agree with some of the direction that the team's going in, well, they may be diverting to other places. And unfortunately, that may hurt the Raptors brand, and it may make them lose money at this point. I think that's inevitable at this point, that the Raptors are going to lose money now because of the decision on Friday morning. And, one way that if you're a real big basketball fan and you do want to still watch basketball and be into it and stuff, you can get into the tempo. You can get into your CBL team that's in your community and start supporting it heavy. I'm not saying turn your back on the Raptors. I'm just saying if you feel like you don't want to support Ed Rogers and what's happening now, I fully support you doing that. I'm the diehard Raptor fan. And in some ways, I understand that, you know what, to get things right, maybe things have to go a little wrong for a little while. And in some ways, hopefully the ultimate goal would be to wrest power away from him as far as being the owner of the Toronto Raptors, one way or another. I don't know how. Maybe he's such a failure that he loses the company because the board members say, you know what, you're a failure. You're a horrible businessman, and you've made this product that was doing so good and was raising value, and we were making so much money, lose money now. So we have a vote of no confidence in you as the head of this corporation, and you're fucking out, motherfucker. I mean, this could happen, guys. The power of the people and your consumer money does matter, guys. It does matter. And remember, keep calling Rogers and canceling your subscriptions or services that you have with that company. Seriously, we can hit him where it hurts. This is the one thing that this guy cares about. Well, hit him where it hurts. Every single one of us. Death by 1,000 pinpricks. Yeah, he'll get it, man. Seriously, we can get him back from Masai, guys. We just need to be very together and doing this. Seriously. Yeah, CBL, give it support, man. It's a Canadian product, and you're supporting Canada when you're watching CBL and going to CBL games. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Smooth's here. Good to see Reggie. Dorian Finney-Smith and Houston have mutual interest. Well, I don't really care about this news. That's not Raptor news, so I don't care. There's been some speculations about what we're going to do with our free agency. There's a really dumb article on ESPN right now that kind of pisses me off, and I'm going to go off on it in just a second. But right now, there's an interesting article also that's about some intriguing free agents that are on the market right now, and our guy Chris is on there. Chris Boucher listed on ESPN right now as one of the underrated NBA free agents. They got Chris Paul on here first, and then they're talking about Chris Boucher. He says only 2 players with at least 800 minutes last season averaged at least 20 points, 9 rebounds, 2.5 3-pointers per 36 minutes. One was Chris Boucher. The other one was Victor Wembanyama. No, I'm not saying that Boucher is anywhere near Wemby's talent. And yes, I'm cherry picking stat minimums to make Boucher look good. But guess what? He does look good. Boucher is still slight to take on heavy minutes at center, but he brings a diverse and valuable skill set to the front court. He can make threes, rise for dunks, and swat opponent shots on the other end. He's also a prolific offensive rebounder with 3.5 career offensive boards per 36 minutes, a top 25 mark among active players. Boucher might be destined to re-sign with Toronto, which is a good sign that they say that, where he spent all but one game of his NBA career. But other teams should be interested in bringing Boucher stateside, where he could have an Obi Toppin-esque role as an energy big off the bench. So they do mention that he may be destined to re-sign with us, which is what I hope happens. But they're also advocating for somebody to bring him stateside. Whatever. Bruce Brown's on the list also, guys. Remember him? He's on the list. Malcolm Brogdon's on the list. Luke Cornett's on the list. DeAnthony Melton. And then Gary Trent Jr. is on this list as some of the most underrated free agents in the free agency market right now. Yeah, of course, with the news about Malik Beasley and the gambling scandal, it may very well be that Gary Trent Jr. is a little bit more important to keep on the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah. Yeah. Kaz is here. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak Crew. Good morning, Kaz. A very, very rising star in our fantasy sports, man. Kaz, you're kicking butt, man. Good job. And Isaac has a dunk for Trevor. I like that. He's saying, "Hey, Trevor, you're back, and I'm glad you're back, and I'm gonna give you a dunk." That's what the benevolent one has done just now. Trevor J, you're going to 108 on the dunk charts. That's right. This man's collecting some dunks this year. This is pretty high for Trevor. Let's see. Cool Cat's here. Coach Cool Cat. Good morning, Raptor Freak Crew. Lex, what magic roster you have then? I have mega points beating everyone, and you show up and blow me out of the water. Wow. I laugh out loud. Yeah. I mean, it was weird. I wanted this week last week because Kaz had such a crazy, huge amount over me. And it's a similar situation. Like I felt like you last week because I had a crazy high score and I would have beat most of the league, but I wouldn't beat Trucker Kaz. And yeah, I guess I just went crazy. I don't know what it was. Those Indiana Fever ladies, sometimes they get going like Kelsey Mitchell. And yeah, I've been trying to really pay attention and be on top of my fantasy team this summer. And it's paying off. I've been playing at a very high level. But yeah, I'm a tough matchup, Cool Cat. And in some ways, I'm playing harder in fantasy than I ever have with you guys. Yeah, it's not that I've held back in the past. It's just that I haven't paid enough attention to it. And this year I'm paying attention to it. But good game. That's what I say there. That's right. We're going to see each other again at some point, I'm sure. I don't know if we have another regular season matchup, but who knows? We'll probably see each other in the playoffs. We'll have to see. Reggie saying this, looks like D'Angelo Russell and the Dallas Mavericks are nearing an agreement. 2 years, $12 million. He takes Kyrie's place for the year. Yeah, that's once again news that's not that important to me. I know that we want to cover the NBA and everything, but there's so many moves, and I don't care about any of them. I really don't, especially Western Conference. It's like one thing to like go over moves that the Celtics, the Knicks, the Sixers, the Nets, the Hawks, the Pacers, the Bucks are doing, but out west, I don't care. Let the Western Conference do what they doing and stuff like that. Let's talk about what's happening here. Like Garrett Temple got signed. That's right. Let's go. Trevor J saying it's on 11 Sports USA. CBL was on. That's cool. I'm glad you have the opportunity to watch it down there. You know, they have their own app and their own setup, and I don't know if you can access it from the States, Trevor, but yeah, you can subscribe and get on the CBL app and get all the games, but you were able to watch it on somewhere else and just have to be on. That's fantastic. Getting a little exposure down south is not a bad thing. Now, I want to talk about that ESPN article I was just talking about for a second. Now, they have a dumbass article right now saying how all 30 teams in the NBA can ace their offseason. And they've got a guy named Chris Herring writing the section for the Toronto Raptors. Chris Herring, just for a little background, is a former, he's a sports writer from New York City who covers the New York Knicks. He's a very heavily a Knicks kind of like fan. I won't say fan, but he's a journalist. And, well, he has interest for the Knicks, right? And he comes from that arena. So listen to me with that in mind, okay? That Chris Herring is a New York Knicks sports writer, and he works for ESPN. This is just the damn truth, all right? Okay, so this is how he thinks the Toronto Raptors ace their offseason. After parting ways with longtime president Masai Ujiri, the Raptors' next move should be reducing salary commitments while developing a better roster blend. So he thinks we should cut our big name, big price players, is what he's saying. Yeah, we're not going to take advice from a piece of shit from New York like you, bro, Chris Herring. It's like more like red herring. She's giving us a red herring advice, motherfucker. Now, why don't you talk about New York? Some of you know. You don't know shit about Toronto. So you go ahead and you're not the right person. Now, Raptors fans that go to ESPN to get all your news and think you know everything about basketball because ESPN teaches you, don't listen to this fuckface from New York. Seriously, I'm going to say that right now. They're saying for a team that might not be in the playoffs next year, motherfucker, I'll show you who's in the playoffs next year, bitch. That's what I'll say to you, Chris Herring. Toronto with Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickly, and RJ Barrett has considerable money on its books. Oh, well, because we're a Canadian team, we're not allowed to spend money on having good players. You fucking piece of shit. You fuck face, you and Chev. Let's see. Those four players alone are set to make $137 million for 25-26, which could send the Raptors into luxury tax territory. Listen, we got a luxury tax master named Bobby Webster, and he can navigate this shit. And just, man, shut up, Chris Herring. It gets worse, guys. Just wait. This guy's so full of shit. Dealing RJ Barrett, who will earn nearly $28 million this year for 2 or 3 players, would not only make the team less top-heavy, it would also ease the roster logjam by giving Toronto more digestible salaries to include in future trade talks. So this guy from New York that covers the New York Knicks is suggesting we need to trade RJ Barrett. And you wonder why the Raptors Nation gets this stupid information, starts parroting all around. Chris Herring, shut the fuck up. Raptors fans, if you're listening to me right now, do not listen to ESPN on this article talking about how he thinks that we should get rid of RJ Barrett. Now, why the fuck would a guy from New York want us to get rid of RJ Barrett? Think about that. Think about that. Yeah, because in some ways, all right, first of all, I don't know if this guy was a fan or a critic of RJ. He could have been either or. If he's a critic, well, he doesn't respect RJ's skills, and he thinks that he's a toxic asset. And he may have been one of those people that purported that RJ Barrett was a toxic asset when he played for the New York Knicks. So how the hell are you going to trust Chris Herring for saying this shit? And also, why do you trust some? Why would you? He's telling us we shouldn't be able to have a high paid roster. He's saying, oh, they shouldn't be spending that much money up in Toronto. What are they trying to do? Win? You know, motherfucker, don't tell us what to do, especially if you're affiliated with the Knicks and especially with RJ Barrett. Because honestly, it smacks of you don't like the hometown hero playing for the hometown team in Toronto. And I'm just saying, man, so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're going to say shit like that. We'd sooner trade Brandon Ingram or Emmanuel Quickly than we would trade RJ Barrett. And why would you pick out of all those guys, him in particular? This is what they're going to say. One move they should make. Chris Herring saying this. Trade RJ Barrett for future assets and a couple of smaller contracts. The team is reportedly open to dealing the Southpaw, who is coming off the 2 best seasons of his career. Yeah, the 2 in Toronto, and that's why you want him out of here. It's because he came to Toronto and became instantly better than he was in New York, that cesspool of piece of shit franchise that you cover, motherfucker. That's right. He averaged at least 20 points in both while logging a career high in assists per game. As he enters his prime, could Toronto find a club willing to part ways with a future first and add Barrett scoring? If so, such a pick could be helpful in an eventual package if Antetokounmpo decides he wants out of Milwaukee. Well, first of all, are you paying attention? You started your article off with Masai Ujiri left Toronto. Why the fuck do you think we're going to get Antetokounmpo at this point? Everybody who wanted Giannis sweepstakes, that shit died on Friday morning, guys. I mean, seriously, what is this motherfucker thinking? He's like, oh, and he wants us to trade RJ as he's entering his prime. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Chris Herring? Red Herring. I'm going to call you Red Herring. You sorry-ass piece of shit New York sports writer hack. Red Herring. Dude, you guys need to do research on who's fucking trying to give advice from ESPN and understand where they're coming from and understand their proclivities is what I'm going to say. So understand, Chris Herring is no friend of the Raptors. He's a New York Knicks writer. He has a proclivity and a affection for the New York Knicks in the city of New York. So why the fuck will we take his advice in trading RJ Barrett? Because that's what he thinks we would do to have a perfect offseason. That's what he thinks we would do to have a perfect offseason. Is trade RJ Barrett. Motherfucking hater. Motherfucking hater. Hating on the Captain Canada being on the Canadian team in Toronto, his hometown, living a dream. Motherfucker, you must hate RJ. You don't want RJ to live his dream. That's the thing you hate, hater, is that RJ is on the team he wants to be on. It wasn't your team, pitch ass. That's what it is right there. And Raps Nation, if you're parroting this trade RJ bullshit, just shut the fuck up. You're working for the enemy, obviously. Because look at Red Herring on ESPN this morning. Yeah, look at Red Herring. Red Herring. Little diversion, distraction. Not the right thing. Let's just say it that way. That's right. There you go. Kareem is here. Good to see Kareem Thomas. You're on this week, my guy. Let's go. I wouldn't mind DeAndre Ayton as a backup center for the right price. It's not going to happen. We don't have any money to do this. And in some ways, I don't want Ayton on our team too. Don't you guys remember what Ayton's upstairs is all about? This man was in a good position in Phoenix and screwed it up completely. He's one of the guys who absolutely destroyed the Phoenix Suns roster. And then when he went to Portland, well, has he done anything sensible and anything outstanding there? No. He's a loser. He's washed. And in some ways, you can't depend on DeAndre Ayton. Why the hell would we get DeAndre Ayton when we're going to get some far deep in the playoffs and then all of a sudden the man's not going to be there for us? No, I'm not for those flaky ass guys like DeAndre Ayton. In some ways, it's sad because he has all the skills in the world. He has the ability to be one of the best centers in the league, but he ain't got it up in his heart, bro. Just remember that. Seriously. Sometimes you can be the physical specimen, but if the physical part of your heart isn't right for playing the game correctly, he's a waste of time. So that's what it is with Ayton. We probably can't afford him anyway. So it's a non-starter. Wayne's saying, morning, Raptor Freaks. Why do you think Rich Paul released that video of him talking to the Phoenix Suns about Malawach? Who does it help? I think in some ways it's very interesting. And I'm glad. Thank you for sharing it, Reggie. I think Reggie was the one who brought it to us and put it in the Discord. Thank you, Reggie. That was very helpful. And, I think it's completely a real clip. And it does give a lot of insight to why we weren't able to draft him. I think that it very much was something like Rich Paul talked to Bobby Webster and said, you know what? And we don't know the full conversation. It could have been like Rich is like pissed off because Masai got let go. And he because he knew he was getting let go. And he's kind of like, you know what? Fuck y'all up in Toronto because Masai's my dude. And I support him. And you know what? You guys can't get Common now. It could have been that. That could have been part of the conversation you don't hear because the only part you hear is the part with Phoenix. We're saying, you guys want Common? You can get him now. And he could have very well been the call that he made before that call was to Bobby. And he talked to Bobby and said, listen, don't draft Common because if you draft Common, he will not report. And listen, it's partly because of this Sudan thing, man. If you guys draft Common, he's going to have all kinds of problems with the border and this bullshit with Trump. And honestly, we don't even want to go through that headache. So please do not draft him. Just out of professional courtesy, just don't draft Malawach. Please don't draft him. And, maybe Bobby Webster's doing a solid for him because, in some ways it's good to be on the right level with Clutch and Rich Paul. They're powerful. And he's like, yeah, no problem, Rich. We'll go with our next choice. Or, honestly, we weren't actually going to get him right now anyway. We had made our decision. I don't know what he said to him. But it is illuminating that Common Malawach was never for us because Rich Paul was diverting him to Phoenix. And it could very well that was a reaction at the last second. Seriously. Because could you see it like that? Like, I don't know. Why did Rich Paul do that? Why was he said he wanted to help out the Suns? He said, no, it sounds like he wanted to take Common and put him where he wanted to put him. Is it also Rich Paul flexing his muscle on social media showing I can move mountains? I can move mountains of men to places that I want them to play in the NBA. Like, how the hell did Common fall so far? Did Rich Paul talk to so many people before that? Or was that phone call done in the middle of the draft in the first round, right around when we were going to draft? Seriously, think about it. What was the timing of that Rich Paul clip? I wonder where it was. Was he in the car doing that in the middle of the first round at the beginning of the draft and like clearing the way for him to drop all the way past us? I don't know. We won't know for sure. But we do know for sure Rich Paul did not want him to come to Toronto. We know that for sure. And in some ways that could, that could open up a whole other realm of what ifs. Well, what if we did really want him? What if Masai wanted him? What if Rich Paul knew the changes were coming in our front office? He said, Toronto, you don't get him now because we only send him there if Masai's there because we know Masai will take care of our guy. That's what I'm wondering. And that's also made me worried because that video in some ways makes me worried about Shamshay, guys. It seriously does. It makes me worried about Shamshay. It's a very, very interesting video. And it tells a lot about why we didn't get Common. Obviously, his representation did not want him to come to Toronto. And that's too bad. That says a lot. And I wonder if he knew I wonder if he knew about Masai's news and on the Friday morning during the first round of the draft, and that Rich Paul was directing Common Maluak to the Phoenix Suns. I mean, how many more phone calls did he make before that particular one? Did he make a call to Brooklyn? Did he make a call to this? I mean, I think it said actually in the call, it said, if Brooklyn doesn't take him, I want y'all to take him. That's directly avoiding us. Directly right there. Smooth saying, really feeling like Ayton will be a Laker or a Buck. Yeah, I don't care. Once again, Reggie, you're speculating on other teams and stuff like that. It's like, I don't care about this. I'll wait and see where Ayton is, and we'll react to it. We'll react to it. Cool Cat saying, I've adjusted my roster and picked up good vibes, and then you blow my ego. Laugh out loud. It's tough. It's serious. There's levels to this. Let's just put it that way, Coach. And I gave you my full effort. I sometimes in the past when I played, I've been short punching, but I gave you my full competitive effort, just so you know, Coach, and keep going. You're doing great. I'm going to be one of the top teams this year. I already am. And, beating me is going to be a real feather in your cap. You can ask Trucker Cass. That's right. Smooth saying he will sign a minimum deal with either of those teams. Yeah, that's screwed up. I don't want to hear this. I don't care. Reggie. This is Raptors Freak. In some ways, it used to be NBA news also, but the Raptors have so much going on, along with my umbrella of taking in the tempo, CBL, more, is I'm cutting out the NBA information. I don't care about everything about the moves. In some ways, if there is a big move, we can assess the fit with the new team and stuff like that. But in some ways, if they're little piddly moves, like some of the ones you've been mentioning so far, I don't care. We'll see. You know what I do? I don't worry about who moves from team to team. But when I do my previews for when we play those teams in the season, I go look at their roster then. And that's when I kind of analyze who their new players are and how they've changed. So it's like I can't cover every team the same way. And I want to give my full focus to the Raptors out of all the 30 teams. So let's see. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. Happy Monday. My daughter was in a tournament showcase and had a 500 record, but overall, great experience. It also helped me not thinking too much about Masai's exit. Yeah, distraction. And you get to see Fiercely Jr. out there kicking some butt. Yeah, 500, well, they win and they lose. That's just how it goes. But yeah, everything that she's doing basketball-wise is good experience, whether it's good or bad, honestly. And you need to round it out. And well, I love that how like it seems like almost every weekend you guys are doing something basketball related, and I love that about that. That bond between you as mother and daughter is just fantastic. It's a beautiful thing. And I can't wait to hear more and more about Fiercely Jr. and what she's doing. Yeah. Trevor's saying where NBA Chev gets his information from. He went off on a video yesterday talking about Scotty playing center for the Raptors this season. Laugh out loud. Yeah, Chev, I don't know what's wrong with Chev right now, man. You guys have speculated he went off the rails because of Siakam leaving. Whatever it is, man, Chev, you check yourself, bro. Remember like what your goal is. Remember what is your goal, bro? What is your goal, Chev? Is it to feed your ego and just be cackling and goofy on your show? Or is your goal to help the Raptors? Because right now you're not helping the Raptors. And that means I'm wondering what your damn goal is at this point, NBA Chef. What the fuck are you doing with your channel? And what is your goal? Has this been a long game and you just wanted to snare a bunch of Raptors fans acting like you're a Raptors fan? And now you're going to turncoat like you are actually a Knicks fan? And you say, oh, this whole time it was a long grift. And I've been like getting you all to subscribe and listen to me because I was talking up the Raptors for so many years, but I've been really toxic. And now I'm coming around and I'm going to show my true side while the Raptors are down after Ujiri left. We'll have to just see. I mean, I would tell people if Chev's compromised, if he's turned on Scotty to this extent, don't watch him anymore. Seriously, you guys, Scotty Barnes is not doing anything wrong. Everything that people are saying about Scotty Barnes is absolutely manufactured garbage. And there's nothing wrong with what Scott's doing. Scotty is one of the top players in this league. He will show it more and more. His progress is on his own schedule. And people saying stuff like he needs to do this by this, by this. No, that's bullshit. Let the man play. He's going to be great. He's going to do fantastic. And all this pressure y'all are putting on him is unnecessary. And also, in some ways, look, if y'all are so toxic around him in certain ways and something goes south and gets all screwed up because of it, I'm going to blame y'all, the people that were overly critical of Scotty Barnes at this juncture. Let's understand, Scotty is one of the best young players in this league, and he's not like the other ones. That's why y'all need to stop gauging him like everybody else. And I will be so pissed at people. We've already lost Masai this week. What more do you guys want? You going to chase Barnes out of this city too now? You fucking idiots, toxic ass people, or you're letting the sheep in wolf clothing come in, wolves and sheep's clothing come in and act like they're us and tear us apart from the inside. Don't be that energy, Raptors Nation. We want to create, not destroy. And what is your action with your words when you talk about the Raptors? Are you creating or are you destroying? If you're talking about holding Scotty to the fire and saying, oh, he needs to do this, he needs that, you're destroying. You're not creating. So understand your energy as a fan or as a person in Raptors Nation. I don't call all y'all fans. And assess it. And if you're not creating, if you're not looking for positive and wanting to build, you're destroying and you're negative and you're toxic. And that's what I say to this. So I'm really disappointed in NBA Chev in the last few weeks and months. And I'm disappointed in a contingency of the Raptors Nation that feels like they need to be assessing and supervising Scotty Barnes' NBA career like there's some sort of fucking middle management. You guys aren't that shit. Let that man do his job. Because in some ways, look, we don't need more buzz around things that like Scotty's under the fire. Scotty's under pressure. No, he's not. In some ways, we've invested huge amounts of money into him and we need him to be successful and we need to believe in him. And honestly, he's our best ticket to the next championship, guys. Y'all need to understand this. So stop fucking with Scotty. I say this as somebody who cares a lot about him and understands the best thing for the Raptors also. So, yeah. All right, let's keep going. G saying CMB was wearing a Tempo sweater. He's wearing, a Tempo shirt. Right away, they gave him that shirt. He's in a picture with Nat Bhatia. Yeah, it's a good sign. Maybe Chloe Kitts will be on the team next year. We'll have to see. Neil saying Rich may also not want too many of his guys under the same team so he can negotiate for more money. He lost OG for not working for the best deal for OG. We've lost a lot of lower clients because he doesn't take care of them correctly. Rich Paul and Clutch was screwing up a couple years ago because they were negligent in doing certain things for lower level players that were in their agency and missing deadlines and not taking care of some of their lower level clients. So there's been a couple of problems there. Let's not get twisted. The thing that happened with OG is he's with Omar, and where Omar goes, he goes. That's what happened with OG. OG's favorite guy is Omar, and he's going to go with his agent. His agent switched from Clutch to Octagon, and that's why OG went to Octagon. Is because this guy, he loves his agent. And his agent used to be Clutch. Well, he left Clutch and he went to Octagon, and OG went with him. That's the big reason why that happened there. So let's see. I think that may be right. That he might want to spread his Clutch clients all over the league in different ways. He might be right with that. That seems right. Seymour saying big ups. All Raptor freaks showing love from Calgary. There you go. Seymour posted a picture yesterday of the MVP, the greatest player in the NBA right now, wearing a Calgary Flames jersey, walking around. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander showing support for the Flames. Very, very interesting. Blackhawk saying, what if Masai is going to Phoenix? I don't think he should do that. That's ridiculous. Once again, I don't want to speculate about where Masai is going, guys. Let's just see what happens. It could very well be that he's not going to go anywhere for a while, and he's taking a long vacation. And I don't want to do this for like months and months or however long it takes for them to figure out where he's going to be. It hurts. Okay, Neil? So let's not even fucking bring up where Masai's next step is. Let him just have a break. And let's not speculate this necessarily. Let's just take a break. In some ways, I'll bring up Masai. I love Masai. Masai is the greatest. Masai is so important to the Raptors in the history of the Raptors. And fuck you, Ed Rogers. All right, I've done my part of talking about Masai today. And I in some ways, it's such a sore spot, and it's too early for this. How the fuck can you do this, Neil, in your heart right now? Like, seriously, how the fuck can you be like, you can be on Phoenix next? Don't you have anything in your heart still that's hurting about this? Or you just turned off from it? You're just like, I don't care, Lex. Masai's gone. Who cares? Man, don't you have a heart? We're grieving still. Why the fuck are you bringing me this? Seriously. That's what I'm saying right here. Wayne's saying, Lex, I buy what you say about Rich. It's a combination of everything you illuminate. It's not one thing. Masai's situation is power move as a powerful agent. I think more to come. Yeah, I mean, we don't see the full story. There's definitely stuff that's happening behind the scenes, but we get little pieces of evidence. And that Rich Paul clip definitely is a piece of evidence. So obviously he did not want him to be on Toronto. He directly avoided us. And it could be for different reasons. I think the South Sudan visa issues is one of them. I think that's one of them. And maybe Masai and what happened with him is one of them too. I mean, seriously. Swiss saying, I know you don't like speculation, Lex, but there's nothing to talk about Raptors related. Oh, there's tons to talk about. Let me show you. I'll show you. That's why I was like, look, man, you guys, I do work all the time trying to figure out what I can talk about with you guys every day. So it's worthwhile for you guys to watch me. And don't worry, I've got stuff to talk about, like that red herring thing in ESPN. I got something else here right now, real quick. Let's do this. Let's do the Instagram stories. We got Coach Andrew Jones, whose birthday's tomorrow, guys. He's a Canada Day birthday, guys. I don't know if you know that. Coach Jones is going to have his birthday tomorrow. But Ava be hooping, and she'd be putting in the Sunday morning work. There she is at the free throw line, taking free throws. The defender closing her out, kind of knocked her down. That's an interesting drill where the one girl's running at her, Ava, as she's trying to shoot to get her a good under pressure shooting. That's a nice little move to the left. Man, I'm scouting Coach Andrew Jones's daughter a lot this summer because he's just posting her like crazy, man. But she's got some moves. It'll be very interesting to see what Ava Jones becomes. She probably will be in the NBA. I mean, WNBA. I think she probably will be. Future Toronto tempo right there. All right, here's the big clip that we're talking about. AJ Lawson filming yesterday in a hallway somewhere, and they're singing "Oh Canada," and we see a bunch of the new Raptors with the rookies from last year, and it's kind of cool. And I'm kind of worried because Colin Castleton looks like he's not feeling the Canadian anthem. Colin Castleton, man, you better wake up. Watch out, man. We're all watching. In some ways, you don't want to get a tag on you. It's like, what the fuck, man? He's disrespecting the Canadian anthem because he's like acting like he's tired and leaning against the wall. That's kind of bullshit. Jonathan Mobo loves the Canadian anthem, though. He sings it out loud and strong. So does Jamal Shed. So does Ulrich Shamshay in the corner singing it loud. I mean, they're doing it for AJ. Come on now. AJ Lawson, Brampton, Ontario. They're singing the Canadian anthem. He's teaching them too. Some of the new guys. Elijah Martin's all about it. He's smiling real big in the clip. He's like, this is fun. I'm in Canada. They're singing the Canadian national anthem. Chucky Wepner, he's in the picture too. And he's looking like he's not against it. Clifford Omeroy's in there. He's singing it with all of his heart. Jameson Battle's kind of making a weird face in the background. But yeah, Shed, Mobo, Shamshay, they love the anthem. They were singing it good. And I think it's Leftwich that was singing it with them too, the coach, Leftwich. So yeah, that is obviously the group that is trying to get Summer League roster together. And that, maybe the guys in the picture, a lot of the guys are going to be playing in the Summer League as far as Shed, Mobo, Shamshay, Wepner, Martin, Castleton, Battle, and Omarui going to be there. Yeah, we also see Coach Mary Andrade in the picture too. But yeah, that's my Canadians is what AJ's saying. And it's fun, man. These guys are singing it with heart, man. But Colin Castleton's not feeling it, man. Colin, you better get with it, bro. You get with it. We see you. AJ Lawson teaching the team how to sing "Oh Canada." That's like a part of the job. Now, AJ Lawson's giving the new guys like, hey, you're going to hear the anthem a lot. You'll probably learn it. You'll probably learn it after a few games. Watch, you'll learn it. That's right. They went to Hoop Queens game, it looks like. AJ Lawson watching some women's hoops here in Canada. Hoop Queens been going off pretty good. There he is in the crowd, dapping some friends and saying hi. Who is that? Is a friend of his? That's right. Is the other guys there at the game too? Did they all go to the Hoop Queens or just AJ Lawson? I'm not totally sure. You can get your basketball fix on in the city still. There's Toronto Tempo at the Pride Parade yesterday. A huge contingency for the Toronto Tempo in the Toronto Pride Parade yesterday. Really cool to see such a huge group out there for them. And they had all kinds of Toronto Tempo like gear on, and they had little Toronto Tempo things they were waving around. Yeah, it looks like it was just a good time. Pride is such a huge event. There's so many people down there for it. And they want you to still sign that pledge, the Toronto Tempo pledge to inclusivity. They want you to include people, inclusiveness. is what the Toronto Tempo Pledge is about. So sign the fan pledge for inclusiveness. Jameson Battle. I don't know if this is, who is this? Who is that? That's not him. No, that's not Jameson. I was about to say Jameson on one knee on the end of a dock with a girl with a ring. No, it's not Jameson. It looks like it's his friends, Taylor Heiss and Parker Fox. I don't know who they are. Taylor, I don't know who's who. Who's the guy and the girl? Who's the guy? Is it Parker or Taylor? Who's the guy and the girl? I don't know when these names are like this. I'm sorry. Jamal Shed is at the Hoop Queens event. So he was there with AJ Lawson, at least. That's interesting. AJ Lawson and him sitting there. Wait, who's sitting on the sideline there? That looks like another player too. Interesting. But yeah, Hoop Queens, there's another a Canadian basketball thing you can do right now, CEBL. Wait, who hit that half-court shot at Hoop Queens? Who is that guy? Oh, is that Shed? Shed hit a half-court shot at the Hoop Queens game yesterday, guys. And he's like all happy about it. He threw it from the logo and bombed it in, and everybody's cheering for him. That's right, Shed Van Vliet. There you go. And he does a little dance at the end of it. I love it. Shed, you're awesome, man. You got the swagger, man. Look at that. And him and Lawson doing the dap afterwards. That was awesome, man. Raptors officials got Colin Murray Boyles on blast. This game can do a lot for you if you put in the time and effort into it. There you go. That's what he said when he was a youngster. Jamal McGlure is at the Escape event this weekend. Yeah, Escape all day yesterday. Fantastic thing down at Liberty Grand. And, man, it looked like a crazy event with all kinds of great food and drinks and lots of people. Kind of like, I guess it's like a pre-Caravana kind of celebration kind of thing. But, yeah, they got all kinds of cool stuff going on down there at Escape yesterday. Jamal McGlure down there being a big part of it. Yeah, let's see. There's more pictures of the Tempo at Pride Parade yesterday. Yeah, this is a big deal. I'm telling you, if the Raptors are going to drop the ball on being cultural and politically active, the Tempo will pick that ball right back up. In fact, I would speculate that the main driving force of the Raptors having a conscience and being more politically active was Teresa Resch, that was working for the Raptors and doing different things to make us more community-oriented and a little bit more politically active. And it's already seems like that's true because the Tempo have been going in full effect, whether it's hosting voting parties, whether it's participating in Pride, whether it's embracing Indigenous artists. There's a lot of stuff that the Tempo are doing right now that the Raptors have done in the past, and it's the signature of Teresa Resch. And I love her for it. And I think that's the right way to run the team. In fact, that element of the Raptors really did attract a lot of different people from different walks of life to be involved in the Raptors. And this is the short-sightedness of a rich old white oligarch of Ed Rogers. He's not going to understand diversity is strong because you can get more revenue streams from appealing to different people, you idiot. So if you're going to make the Raptors just like the Leafs and the Blue Jays, you're going to lose a lot of money. I'm going to continue to say this because you don't understand this. I understand this better than you, obviously. So it is what it is. Diversity is strength, and anti-diversity is weakness. That's just the damn truth. All right, yeah, there's Olivia Chow at the Pride Parade with the Toronto Tempo. She's looking like a spring chicken, literally, because she's wearing a yellow suit. There you go. There's Norman Powell playing some Drake and with his Understand the Grind gear. There you go. Elijah Martin's dog's got the Raptors bandana now, guys. That's beautiful. He's got a pit bull, and that dog's got a white Raptors bandana on it now. That's fantastic. That's official when the dog's repping the colors now. That's what I'm saying. That's official. Slim Duck's got island people playing dominoes, and when you win out of nothing, there you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Man, Bones is fun, man. I used to love playing some dominoes. I need to play some more dominoes and stuff like that. But yeah, he's all about the dominoes on his Instagram right now. Lou Dort is celebrating that his teammate and brother, Jalen Williams with an I, Vietnamese Jalen Williams, has re-signed with the Oklahoma City Thunder on a 3-year extension, $24 million contract. But Lou gets, Dort is happy, and so is Eugene Omoruyi. I'm telling you, Eugene is Thunder Nation, man. He loves those Thunder guys so much. They're like his buddies and brothers. He loves the Thunder. In some ways, Gene would be happy to be back on the Thunder. I can already tell. Seriously. So there's your Instagram stories for today. AJ Lawson teaching the team how to sing "Oh Canada." Hey, rookies. Yeah. You got to learn how to sing "Oh Canada" because you're on the Raptors now. That's right. There you go. Colin Castleton, wake up. Wake up, Castleton. We can see what you're doing there. That's right. That's right. Transactions eyes, really nothing. I mean, look, we got Garrett Temple. I could have done this stream today completely on the re-signing of Garrett Temple, but what's the point? We already know that's all about, and that's cool. We don't need to do a whole lot. This period coming up right now. I mean, I'll do trivia tomorrow. And we'll just be I'll be covering other stuff. Like I'll cover the tempo, maybe one stream coming up. I'll cover the CBL again. I may cover, I'm going to do stuff with the Summer League roster coming up. When I find out more information on the Summer League roster, it's really getting into Summer League stuff and kind of paying attention to who the Raptors are signing as bit players to be on our Summer League roster. And that's we're in the mode of right now. That's right. Cool Cat saying Coloco is, hang on, it jumped ahead. Let me see what it's saying. Coloco is also with Rich Paul, so I will assume they are managing how their players are getting playing time on teams. You don't want Shamshe and Malawach competing against each other. That's a good point. That seems like that makes sense. So we could have never had the Twin Towers, the Cameroonian Twin Towers of Coloco and Shamshe. Is that what you're saying? And it's like when Coloco had to leave, Masai was like, well, we're going to get another Cameroonian then. We're going to get Shamshe now. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, in some ways that would make more money for Rich is if like they're on separate teams and they can kind of carve their own role in different ways. This totally makes sense what Cool Cat's saying. Blackhawk's saying he got his info from Toronto Star. That is it, Cool Cat. He's moving the chess pieces. In some ways, yeah, he is. In some ways he is, but I didn't like the underhanded way Coloco got taken from us. I really didn't like that. The Raptors should have been compensated better for what happened there. Seriously, because it wasn't our fault that he had a medical issue that we couldn't use him. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, he's available and he's on the Lakers. That's kind of messed up, man. That's kind of messed up. Ahmet Gaming's here. He's over here on this continent in Canada right now. Good morning, everyone. I have to go, but I wanted to say hello to everyone. All right. Well, hello, Ahmet. Good to see you, sir. Former Raptor Freak trivia champion. Cool Cat saying NBA Chef stated the information from the Toronto Star regarding Siakam. There was a lot in the fan base that was being very nasty and aggressive. So he's saying he hopes they keep it consistent. What are you talking about? I don't understand this. This doesn't make any sense. NBA Chef stated the information from the Toronto Star. What information? All I've heard is NBA Chef is going after Scott right now for no reason, and he's being toxic. That's all I've heard. I've not listened to him myself. I've just heard that he's being unduly critical of Scotty Barnes and making ultimatums as far as what Scotty needs to do this season. And people are echoing his kind of bullshit and saying if Scotty doesn't this and Scotty doesn't do that, then he needs to leave Toronto. Well, what is that part? The people in Toronto don't want him to leave. The people in the States want him to leave. So I don't trust anybody who's coming at Scott and being critical right now. Because they need to shut the fuck up. This is part of the action that got Siakam out of here. So I'm just saying. I mean, I don't understand this comment exactly. You're saying regarding Siakam, there was a lot in the fan base that was being very nasty and aggressive. Yes, we know that. And they're doing that right now to Scott. So if you're on that part of that fan base, shut the fuck up. If you're not really a fan of our team and you're hanging out around us, shut the fuck up. If you're a real fan, stop parroting people that don't have good intentions for us. Shut the fuck up. That's what I got to say to that in any kind of way. Scotty's not doing anything wrong. This is a completely manufactured bullshit thing for people to try and pry him off our team. And I don't understand why people can't see right through what this is. Seriously. I'd say anybody who's being critical of Scott is not paying attention. Once again, Scotty did not have a bad year last year. And everybody who's pushed that narrative is making something up to try and make it easier to try and dislodge him from our team. Just understand this, Cool Cat. Now, I don't know if you're standing up for Chev. I don't understand that. Chev has gone off the rails, and he's become a toxic asset in the Raptors nation at this point. Fusey saying, no dominating, please. Yeah, no dominating. No. Neil's saying, Raptors have Jakob, so the Toronto Star article has no substance to it. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that. Who wrote it? Did Doug Smith write it? I don't even know what this article is. I haven't read it, so I can't really. You guys are bringing something up that I have no idea what you guys are talking about. If this was so important, I would know about it, right? I've never heard about any Toronto Star article. What is this shit? Is it something that Chev keeps going on and on about on his channel? Maybe it doesn't even matter. I mean, seriously. Let's see. Cool Cat saying NBA Chev kept saying Siakam is still a great player and he would be good for Scotty to develop. So now it has unfolded with Siakam's success. So it's I told you so. His critique's aggressive and offense. Yeah, it's not a, I told you so, you idiot. If you really think, not Cool Cat, I'm saying this Chev. It's not I told you so, Chev. We know Siakam's good. I knew this was going to happen with him. That's not what the issue was. The fit wasn't right. And Siakam wasn't the right kind of player to play in Darko's system. And yeah, sure, Scotty could play with anybody. And ideally, I would have loved to have kept Pascal. But in some ways, Pascal was too prominent from the last era. And if we're going to really give Scotty the leadership role of this new era, we don't freaking, we allow him the pathway to be the leader without old guard that are more important in some ways around him. Don't people understand this? That's part of it. And plus, we documented very closely recently that Siakam was depressed and he needed a change of scenery from the Raptors to get a fresh start on his career. So it's like, I don't know, NBA Chev, if you're covering this team like I am, you need to be paying closer fucking attention like I am. Because honestly, I mean, the whatever the told you so is, he doesn't have any right to say I told you so. There's nothing that he said that matters because it all happened the way it happened. And it's not like he could have changed anything. So it's like, what the fuck? Bored with how things happen. We don't woulda, coulda, shoulda. And I told you so's are only reserved when it's like something like I told you so. If we got rid of Masai, things are going to be fucked up. No, you don't do this with Pascal because Pascal was at a point where he needed to go. And there were no options. There were no options. That was the only option. And it worked out really well considering everything. So what are we doing? You're going to get all mad at Scott now? And then we're going to lose him? And then what are we fucking doing? Then what were we fucking doing then at this point? You guys got to understand, Scotty Barnes is the best, most important player in the Atlantic Division in some ways, guys. Yeah, better than anybody on the Celtics even. And we need to keep him on our team, guys. We seriously do. And everybody who's coming at Scott in negative ways right now needs to really, really shut the fuck up because they're uninformed and they don't know what they're talking about. And sadly, the NBA Chev is one of those people at this point. Sadly. Yeah. I mean, I'm so disappointed in him. Seriously, I am so disappointed when I'm hearing what NBA Chev's saying right now. Seriously, you get back on the right page, man. Either that or just fucking go be Knicks, NBA Knicks, Chev. Seriously, we don't need you in Raptors Nation if you're going to be like this. Seriously. I say to Raptors fans, stop watching Chev at this point. I used to be very much a supporter of him. But from what I'm hearing, what he's saying now, nobody should be watching him if you're a real Raptors fan. Let's see. Wayne's saying Trevor Chev is still upset about Pascal. Definitely. His source is the Toronto Sun and their dubious sources. He's echoing the article saying Scotty has got to do more to justify the faith of front office put in him. Yeah, it's such bullshit, man. See, okay, so it wasn't the Star, it was the Sun. Well, that's a big difference, guys. That's a big difference. If you're saying he's echoing the Toronto Sun, well, we know what the Toronto Sun is. It's a tabloid. It's a right-wing mag. It's a pull-apart. It's written by people who are hockey-centric. It's a rag that will try and fuck up the Raptors historically over and over again. So NBA Chev, you're getting your information from Toronto Sun. Well, maybe this is a fucking point where you not being a Toronto person or a Canadian person is a problem because you don't know how to fucking trust which source and what not source. Because Toronto Sun is not a reliable source, you idiot. And seriously, once again, what Wayne's saying here is he's echoing that Scotty needs to do more to justify his faith, the faith that front office put in. Well, once again, guys, I'm going to describe Scotty for everybody who hasn't listened to me over and over again. And I know I'm not talking to the people that are regularly here. I'm talking to people that may be new or people that just come across my stream. Scotty Barnes is like Magic Johnson. Scotty Barnes is like Jason Kidd. Scotty Barnes is not supposed to be the leading scorer of the team. Scotty Barnes is a glue guy. Scotty Barnes is a leader. Scotty Barnes is a vocal leader. Scotty Barnes is a defensive leader. Scotty Barnes is a passer. Scotty Barnes is also a scorer, but he scores more than he's a passer. Scotty Barnes is like Magic. Did Magic ever lead the Lakers in scoring? Hardly ever. Did Jason Kidd ever lead the Mavericks or other teams that he was on in scoring? Never did. So what the fuck is so hard to understand what Scott is? Scott is a Jason Kidd or a Magic Johnson. You do not need him to be the leading scorer. If you are only judging him by his points average not being above 20 points, you need to shut the fuck up. It sounds like idiots that do not know basketball. Why can't you see this? What I just explained right here, NBA chef, you dumbass. Seriously, at this point, you're an idiot. If you can't understand what I just described and understand how valuable Jason Kidd and Magic Johnson were to their teams, and they were still franchise players, if people can't understand this concept in the modern day, y'all are fucking idiots, and you should have been paying attention to the history of the NBA, like me, and understand that players like Magic Johnson and Jason Kidd are very special and don't come around very often. And we're lucky to have one in Toronto named Scotty Wayne Barnes. So everybody's detracting Scotty Barnes. Do you understand he's Magic Johnson? Do you understand that he's Jason Kidd? And do you have a better understanding what he should be fucking getting better and being progressing on now that I have illuminated this for you? Hello, and other Raptors freaks that are here. Push this gospel at everybody's face every single time they bring this up. This is the easy argument. Oh, you don't think Scotty's doing well enough? Well, listen, he's a Magic Johnson. He's a Jason Kidd. He's not supposed to lead his team in scoring. He's supposed to lead his team as a leader and all other aspects as a glue guy. And his kind of player type is rarer than any other type. That's why Masai was overjoyed that we got Scotty Barnes. And this is why the NBA in the United States wants to pry him from us and put him down there. There's all kinds of reasons, marketing reasons, that he's so fucking talented, he's going to win championships reasons. There's reasons of I'd love him to be in the States and not on Canada's team. Y'all are doing the legwork for him, Raptors Nation, that are all about criticizing Scotty at this point. You're doing the legwork for the forces that want to pry him off our team when that's not a good thing, guys. Because Scotty, honestly, is the next thing to get us there. And y'all need to just be fucking patient and work with him on his timeline and stop putting all these kind of expectations on him. Because honestly, he doesn't need them. He's going to be fine. He's working hard and he's doing everything in his power to get as good as he can. And it'll be on his schedule. It's not for any of you arrogant assholes to determine when he's supposed to do what. That's what I'm saying. So in some ways, NBA teams need to have patience, and so do their fans. If you want something to come and make it good, it takes time to make good things happen. And Scotty's on the right track. And y'all may not think he's doing well, but that's to an uneducated eye. The educated eye can see all the changes and the great improvements that he's made every single year. He's not spun his wheel at all. Every single year, he's improved in some aspect of his game and gotten way better and matured more and gotten savvier and gotten more experience. And next year, he may make another huge leap, and everybody's going to be like, holy fuck, we need to shut the fuck up because we don't know what we're talking about. That's what I'm expecting this year, especially if Scott's hearing all the fucking dumbasses. So all the dumbasses say Sloppy Barnes bullshit. Sloppy Barnes is the most disrespectful bullshit I've ever heard. Who the fuck do you think you are calling him Sloppy Barnes? You want me to come to your fucking job and I'll come and call some dumb nickname on you for your dumb ass and how you do your job poorly? No. You don't want me to do that, so don't fucking come and bullshit Scott with a Sloppy Barnes nickname. The fucking stupid ass shit. Yeah, if you hear somebody use the word Sloppy Barnes, that's not a Raptors fan. That is not a Raptors fan. That's an infiltrator. That's a half-ass person in the Raptors nation who is not a real fan. There's no reason to call Scotty Sloppy Barnes. And if you hear somebody say those two words together, you know that they're fucking full of shit, not a real fan. I'm going to say that right now. Seriously, right there. All right, let's keep going. Smooth saying, this has always been Shev's style, though. Most of us liked it when he was in favor of the Raptors. His style hasn't changed, in my opinion. No, I'm not saying his style hasn't changed, but he's turned on us. You just said it in your subject right there. If he was going after everybody else like he normally does, but he's turned on us. So fuck him. That's not loyalty. That's not loyalty right there. That's all I got to say on that. Fuck NBA Chev. He wants to turn on our team. You're not a real one. You're not from Toronto, bro. You know what he is? He's a fucking bandwagoner. He jumped on the bandwagon in the bubble, guys. He didn't even jump on it when we won the championship. He jumped on the NBA the bandwagon with the Raptors after we win the series against Celtics. And that's how long he's been a fan of our team through bad years in the last 4 years. That's all he's been, a fan of our team. He hadn't been here since Damon years. He ain't been here since Vince. He ain't been here. And why the fuck did he all of a sudden decide to become a Raptors fan all of a sudden then? Seriously, question this shit. Seriously, I would say he may have been on a long game for Knicks Nation. And now that Knicks Nation has risen up and doing better in the last couple of years, it's like he doesn't have to follow the Raptors anymore because they're not winning and the Knicks are winning more, and he can show his true colors. So, I mean, let's not get fooled here, guys. Let's not get fooled here. Neil saying there have been many holes in the roster that caused Pascal and Scotty to take unnecessary blame. Yeah, they don't deserve any blame, either one of those two guys. I don't blame Siakam for anything. I don't blame Scotty for anything. Nope, I don't. In some ways, this is just situational. In some ways, it's just the way it is. It's like it didn't work, and that's what you can blame. If you want to blame Darko for having a system that Pascal didn't fit exactly, you can blame that, sure. If you really want to blame Darko, but Darko was the new coach, and that was the future, and we needed to go that direction. Either way, sentimentality and holding on to the past is part of the problem here. That people have a hard time letting go. And we need to let go of Siakam. Siakam is a pacer, and he's a very successful one, and I'm proud of him. But, staying present is partly staying present with the very present now, the post-Masai era. And also the fact that Siakam don't play for us, get over it. That's what I have to fucking say to NBA Chef. Get over it. You fucking are going to be a miserable fuck for the rest of your life if you can't get over things that happened in the past. If you hold on to them and you just can't let go of them, you'll be miserable, miserable fuck. So it's really good to travel light and be able to move forward and, process and go through the emotions, go through everything. I did that with Siakam already. I can't understand why other people haven't done this. And, don't hate because he's gotten more success somewhere else. Maybe he hates it because Siakam put out his New York Knicks team. And he's like, God damn it, why didn't the Raptors hold on to Siakam? And that maybe he's mad because of that. I don't know. I don't know what his true motives are inside, because obviously he's shown his true colors. If he's going to turn on the Raptors team like he has in recent months, is what I'm going to say right here. That's right. Right. Seymour saying, how much money can we spend? I don't think we can spend a whole lot. We might have some exceptions. We might have some like mid-level exception or something like that. But I'm not totally sure right now what is possible. In some ways, if we're going to get some sort of person, I still kind of just want to get Chris and just have Boucher come back. Really seriously. If we're going to get somebody, if it's not Chris, I want it to be Trey Lyles. Those are the two names I want right there. Seymour saying, so we know what we can bring in if we have plans to add to what we already have. Yeah, there you go. There you go. SGA repping Calgary made my day. Not going to lie. There you go. Yeah, I don't know right now on this. Mike, if he's around, Logical Raptors Fanatic, I could get him to investigate what's possible with the cap currently as it is. Maybe Blake Murphy will get off his Blue Jays tip for just a second and give us a cap breakdown so that he can tell us exactly what could happen possibly with the Raptors. Or Samson Folk, or I don't even know what happened to Oren Weisfeld. It's almost like Oren Weisfeld just stopped covering the Raptors while he's been writing a book, and he's been very quiet. Neil saying Grady, Jacoby, CMB, Jamal, Mobo, and others are plugging the holes in our roster. Our bench will be dominant. Well, we'll just have to see. No guarantees on anything and no expectations. Let's just go and hope for health, and we will get success if we have health. Let's just put it that way. Wayne saying, Neil, I like you, but you are not tuned in with how an executive like Masai operates. You are equating him to some poor-ass grunt with overdue bills. He's going nowhere. You're suggesting not happening. Yeah, you're talking about what, Scotty? I'm kind of confused here. I like you, but you're not tuned in with how executive like Masai operates. Man, I miss Masai already, and it's only been like 2 or 3 days. Seriously, man. I like I said, this takes the whole safety net out for like how I feel the Raptors, like everything the Raptors do now, I'm going to scrutinize to the point of like, well, is this good for our team or not? Because before I trusted Masai, and I would say, well, let's just see how Grady Dick goes. I didn't think we'd draft him, but we got Grady Dick. I got to trust in Masai. So everything we do now, in some ways, I'm going to look through it through the lens, like starting from that draft last week. Is like, is this the lens of the post-Masai era? And is this a healthy move for us or not? Or is this on the down low a self-sabotage move? Or is this on the down low a mismanagement move? Or just a inept move? Now, Bobby is pulling the strings and making the decisions. I'll have more confidence. But, they've got a list up now. Like Grange put out an article with a list of names of who could possibly replace Masai Ujiri, And the list is interesting. There's some of the names that we had already mentioned. See, this is stuff we can talk about, Reggie, that's going on right now, replacing Masai. And they're talking about this a lot. Bob Myers is on the list, and but Grange admits that he may be too pricey for the Raptors to get, and he wouldn't be like it would probably, he'd have to be paid similarly to Masai, so it wouldn't be a cost-cutting move if they got Bob Myers. I wouldn't want Bob Myers anyway, but he's at the top of his list. Alex Saratis, who's a player agent, and he would be kind of like Leon Rose or Rob Pelinka, going it from agency with players to front office. And he actually is like the agent for Giannis, Bam, and Oshai. And he has been a candidate for the Atlanta Hawks presidency, but he's still an agent. He hasn't transferred to front office. But this would be a weird hire. Like, if they hired this guy, could that mean that Giannis is actually going to come to Toronto more because his agent is here? Who knows? Who knows? Mark Eversley is on this list, which I think he'd be a great choice. He's from Brampton. Matt Lloyd is on this list. He's the general manager for the Timberwolves, and he's also worked for the Magic and the Bulls in the past. He has a reputation as being very smart, industrious, and personable. So he's a highly respected executive. And he was the successor for Masai Ujiri in Denver after he left. So it'd be a weird thing where he would come in and take over a job after Masai for the second time, guys. Dwayne Casey is on this list. And Grange is saying few would know the Raptors landscape better than Coach Case. Chad Buchanan is on this list also. He's the general manager of the Pacers currently right now. And what basically would be is like you're taking the general manager of the Eastern Conference champion Pacers and you're making him the team president. So it's a step up. It's a promotion, It's a promotion. I don't know. In some ways, once again, I don't want a businessman. In some ways, it's like the Alex agent for Giannis. Fuck that guy. Fuck Bob Myers. Because in some ways, we don't want Giannis sweepstakes. And I don't want a businessman. I want a basketball head. I want somebody like Dwayne Casey or somebody like Chad Buchanan that actually was a GM and does basketball stuff and understands basketball moves. Because if we have a businessman in that position that comes from another arena of things, they don't really understand basketball, they could really fuck up our decisions. Seriously. So it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough, man. Grange pointing out some of the top candidates early for this. Bobby Webster's on that list too, guys, just so you know. Fiercely saying, I honestly lost all confidence now that Masai is gone. Those RJ trade Scotty talks annoy me. Well, this is the thing, with the void of him gone, in some ways he was protecting us from a lot of stuff that we didn't even realize. And, there's going to be a lot more toxic and a lot more weird shit. A lot of fans will not believe in the Raptors as much anymore because Masai was that kind of confidence builder. And some of them will turn toxic and they'll turn really weird ways toxic. And it sucks. I hate this. It's like the stability and the captain of the ship is gone. And we don't have a captain of the ship right now. Bobby's the captain right now, but until when? They're going to send somebody else in to be the captain? And in some ways, the people that own the ship are the problem right now. Yeah, the people that own the ship are the problem, not the captain. It's really crazy. Cool Cat's saying, I've been mentally prepared for a new Raptors vision and strategy, so I just observed the changes in quest for the second ship and understand it's a business. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And I mean, I know, like, this is the thing. I've been doing a lot of pre-mourning on different things in my life. In some ways, I found that if you pre-mourn things, when it happens, then you can handle it a little better. And maybe I pre-mourned like the departure of Masai already in a couple years because the writing was on the wall with Ed Rodgers. So in some ways, I was gearing up for this. It's kind of like similar with Siakam, is that I saw the writing was on the wall and we could tell that maybe Siakam was going to be leaving the team in like the year before he left. So I pre-mourned him. And in some ways, pre-mourning is a strategy that people can use and they can, deal with something all of a sudden. If you know something may be coming or happening, you don't want to get all bent out of shape and stressed, but you can think about it happening and kind of make yourself ready for it. So it's not so shocking and it's not so jarring. And I think that that's something that both Cool Cat and I have employed in the past. It's like being premeditative and pre-mourn possible things that are bad that are happening. you know. Neil saying, Lex, my heart is not the problem. We do not have the full picture because we are 3 weeks behind. No time to mom when so much information coming out. Even Pascal gave us insights we did not know. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean? We got to be clear here. There's only one way to be as a Raptor freak right here, Neil. There's only one way to be here. Seriously. There's only one way to be here, and supportive and loving towards our team, even if they're making very boneheaded decisions and we're in trouble right now. That's what I'm saying. We do not have the full picture because we are 3 weeks behind. What are we 3 weeks behind on? I don't even understand what that means. 3 weeks behind? How are we 3 weeks behind? What do you mean? Because Masai knew he was getting fired 3 weeks before he got fired? Is that what you're saying? No time to mom when so much information is coming out. No time to mourn. No time to mourn? Is that what you're saying? No, we need to mourn. We need to do it right now in the dead of the summer when there's not that much going on. Don't be mourning Masai in the middle of the season. Get this shit over and done with. Don't put it on layaway. That's what I'm saying. No time to mourn. This is exactly when to mourn. There's nothing going on right now. Definitely start trying. I'm gonna be mourning this for the rest of my life to a degree. But for me to be able to handle it like in just little pieces, I have to do it a certain way. So yeah, okay. I'm not totally understanding some of y'all's comments. It's all good. Cool Cat saying, I'm waiting for season tickets released for Toronto Tempo. I'm also excited to see Angel Reese and Aaliyah Boston and Paige Bookers play live in Toronto. Exciting times to look forward to. I know. In some ways, Teresa, you could really strike and get a huge share of the basketball market in Toronto because of the fumble that Ed Rogers has done. Seriously, this is an opportunity for you to really capture a lot of us and get us fully with you guys. I'm going to be both sides, but I could get really heavy into tempo more than Raptors. Like a lot of people are saying already. Seriously, the good vibes and the good feelings went with Teresa and Larry. And Masai was the last bit of good vibes on the Raptors in some ways. It's kind of scary, man. It's kind of scary. So I'm totally with you, Cool Cat. I will pivot. I'm serious. I don't like monopolies. And Ed Rogers, just because you think you have a monopoly on sports in Toronto, you don't. You don't. There's the CBL and there's the Toronto Tempo. And we will go and support other teams of sports than yours if you're going to run the main sports teams in Toronto to the ground. Seriously, we will. We will. Don't think we won't, because we will. We will. That's right. Neil saying, now, why on earth would I associate Masai to a poor-ass grunt with overdue bills? Shaking my head. Makes no sense. Once again, guys, elaborate, because I don't know who the poor-ass grunt you're talking about. And we move so fast in here. We're covering so many different subjects. You've got to give me proper nouns on every comment. Because I don't know what you mean here. Once again, there's a disconnect here, Blackhawk. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know which article Shev's talking about. There's a little bit of a miscommunication here right now. Trevor's saying, Masai will be missed, but he will be blessed because God's got his back. Oh, yeah. That's for sure. Everything right there. He's going to be very missed, and for sure God's got his back because he's a great man. He's done a lot of good things. He changed Canada, honestly. He didn't just change the Raptors. He changed Canada. Cool Cat saying, Masai is forever etched in Raptors history and Canada's history. Giants of Africa is a tour de force, our organization. They're going to be great. They're going to be fine. And you know what? Depending on where Masai locates himself to, Giants of Africa will survive and will be where he is. I know it will be. I mean, it could be that it becomes even bigger because he focuses more time and energy into it. There's a lot of different ways this can go. And yeah, I miss Masai so much. And I loved having the feeling of security with him being in charge. And that's gone. That's what you did, Ed Rogers. You took all the trust and security of the Raptors fan nation in the team being run properly to win, to achieve, and thrown it out the window, flushed it down the toilet for no good reason other than your own fragile ego. It's nothing else. It's only your own bullshit that caused this to happen. Masai was not broken. He's doing a really, really good job for your team. And you know what? The fact that you cheaped out, you feel like he's not worth paying that money, well, you deserve to lose money in your company now. And you're going to lose a lot of money. And seriously, you're going to realize just how bad a business decision you made on Friday morning was. And we can all help him realize that. Oh, yeah, we can. Oh, yeah, we can. That's right. Reggie saying, I agree with Cool Cat. Embrace what's next for the Raptors. Masai legacy here forever. That's the right attitude. I like that. See, listen, this is not a positive thing that's happened, but we can have a positive attitude going forward and trying to see the good things. But let's not be like rose-colored glasses and just think, oh, everything's going to be great and work for it. No, we can't be that way too. We need to be vigilant and aware and judgmental and ready to understand and see what's happening, because we want to make sure our team is run correctly. And that's an important thing, is to suss this out and not just blindly say, oh, this is great. This is great. No, we need to watch this, because in some ways our voice will matter in some instances, guys. And we could be like, we need to raise hell about this decision and let them know just how unpopular the dismissal of Masai Ujiri was on Friday morning. We need to do this. They need the customer card feedback. Let's just put it that way. And don't let up on it. I say do it for the rest of their lives. I mean, that's how monumental this guy was for our team and how important he was. Do not let up on Ed Rogers or Keith Pelly. Give them shit for the rest of their lives. Seriously, Raptors fans, they deserve this for what's happened on Friday. They really do. And this is the way you do it for Masai. You love Masai and you really appreciate what he did to help our country, our city, our team. Well, this is how we pay him back. We let the people that did this to him know that they were fucking wrong for the rest of their lives, and let them know just how much we don't like them for it. Seriously, that's it right there. Trevor's saying, if y'all ever been to Jamal's event, you guys have to go. It's off the chain. Jamal McGlure's, the Escape or whatever. That's interesting. Neil's saying, Koloko has disappeared on the Lakers. He had more visibility with us. Yeah, he wasn't even on the playoff roster, which I thought was stupid, man. That just shows mismanagement. You got a weapon like him, you don't even put him on your playoff roster. It was pretty dumb. Blackhawk saying, I didn't bother with the article because I'm not paying for that junk. Every team plays small at some point, and is not a guarantee that Scotty will play small ball center. And if he does, so what? I didn't even know what the problem is. Scotty can play small ball center. Scotty has played center a lot already, and he's effective at it. I mean, the man can guard Jokic. You know, he can muscle up with Joel. These aren't issues here. I don't even know what his problem. This is a great thing about Scott, that he's versatile enough to play some small ball center. And he has. And he doesn't shy away from it either. He enjoys it, which is crazy. Some people would be like, I don't want to play out of position against a bigger, stronger guy. No, Scotty loves the challenge. He's going right at it. So it's like, I mean, I don't know what this issue is. If he plays small ball center, he plays point guard, who cares? The man's talented. He can do it all. And that's what I'm saying right there. That's right. Fiercely saying she's a master at dominoes. I'm a pretty badass bones player myself. Yeah. I'm good at cards and dominoes. Those are two games that I'm very good at. I'm a very good card player. And dominoes, yeah, I can play some dominoes. My grandfather in Manitoba used to want to play dominoes with me all the time when I was a kid. So I played a lot of dominoes with my Manitoba grandfather. That's right. Let's see. Wayne saying, reached out to Chev and advised him to be dubious of his Toronto media sources. He acknowledged same. Let's see if he modifies his view. I think it won't. It won't, because to him, Pascal was the better option. Well, let it go. That's what I'm saying. I mean, people that are standing for Siakam over Barnes at this point, why? Why? Nothing can be reversed. It's obvious. Pascal's staying there. All you're doing is putting yourself in a twisted in the wind, uncomfortably and painfully on your own. You don't need to be there. Get over it. In some ways, we can't go back and change it, Marty McFly. So just accept what's happened and let's move forward. And honestly, why would you? This doesn't make any sense. You're upset that this other guy left that was great, and you're mad about that you're going to chase this another guy that's so good out of town afterwards. That doesn't make any sense to me. So in some ways, it's not like we need retribution for this. We need retribution for Masai, guys, not for Pascal. Pascal's in the league. He's thriving. He's successful. He's happy. This is all the things we wanted for him. And you guys can't be so egotistical. Oh, he's not doing it for the Raptors. It sucks. It sucks. No, it wasn't going to work out here. And I'm happy he's having success because he makes us look good, guys. So everybody is like, why wasn't it on our team? You're little children. Get over yourselves. And it's fine that he did it for the Pacers. It's fantastic he did it for the Pacers. Oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I would have loved them to continue to be on the Raptors, but it didn't work. Get over it. And honestly, don't mess up our future just because you're holding on to the past and something that couldn't happen. Seriously, that's the dumbest thing in the world. You're going to ruin your future. It's kind of like this. Think about it if it was women in your life. You're a man and you're single. And you had this great girlfriend named Pascal for a long, long time. And it was awesome. It was so good. But things just weren't the same after a certain point. The old feelings were gone, and you're kind of just going through the motions. You were together, but the feelings weren't right. It was kind of depressing, honestly. And then you met somebody new and you started dating them too, but you were dating both of them. And that's fine. You can date multiple people if you're not going steady. And well, the other person seemed to have more potential for the future and building something with them. Now, you still love the other person that you had a past with, but in some ways it's not the same. And you know the future's with that other person. So you have to say goodbye to that other person. And they start dating somebody else. And they start dating somebody else that's rich or something. And they have like amazing life with the new person. That's the Pacers. And you're with the new person still. And maybe, your things are still great with that person, but you're comparing what you have with that person, Scotty, with what the new boyfriend has with Pascal. That's what I'm saying. It's like, what is this? Apply this to a love life like this and think about how the fuck you're acting and how joke is. Like, you might fumble the current person you got because you're pining for the last person you had. Seriously, think about this in the relationship department and the logic of all that. You're not going to be with that person anymore. They're obviously gone and done. They're married by now. They got married to the other team, the Pacers, because he's an Eastern Conference Finals champ. You're never going to get back with them unless they get divorced and they come back to you, but that's not likely. But you're with Scotty, and instead you're like saying, "Oh, I still miss the old spouse." You didn't tell that to your new spouse. It was like, "I miss Pascal so much." Wait, what about me? And then all of a sudden, the new spouse is like not totally wanting to be there anymore. See, that's what y'all are doing. This energy, Chev, and your stupid ass shit. Does this make sense? What I just said? Like, Raptors Nation. Like, seriously, we all love Pascal. Pascal should get his number 43 up in the Raptors at Scotiabank Arena for sure. He's on my Mount Rushmore of top 4 greatest Raptors of all time. It doesn't change that. So why the fuck do y'all want to fuck up our future? For nothing. For nothing. For going after Scott, for just because the media told you to go after them? Don't listen to media. The media is not our friend. ESPN's not our friend. Chris Herring's not our friend. The media in Canada is not our friend. Heck, our own ownership might not even be our own friend at this point. So let's understand and be our own friend to ourselves and stop being destructive and toxic to the assets and the great people on our team like Scotty Barnes while they're here. I want them to stay here for a long, long time. And if y'all are doing stupid ass shit, it's not helpful for anything. Let's just put it that way. It's not helpful for anything. That's right. Fiercey's got our barbecue guys on blast. I love it. Shaq Lindsay's here. Scotty's potential will be revealed with the number one scorer like BI and support cast of RJ, Emmanuel, and Jakob. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, hopefully we can educate the casuals on Scotty Barnes and his player build better this year. Whether it's Scotty hitting his threes better this year because his hand's not broken, whether it's Scotty, getting more assists and leaning more in towards like Brandon and RJ, like Shaq Lindsay's saying here, as far as feeding those guys, and you see the role in action, you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Oh, okay, now I get it. I hope a lot of Raptors fans say that this year. They're like, oh, okay, now I get it with Scotty. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what we want to hear, that you guys got educated and you understand, you're caught up to speed on the player type that Scotty Barnes is and what exactly he does for the Raptors and why he's so special. Seriously, that's what you all need to do. And I think Shaq Lindsay's on it right here. That hopefully the excellent player that Brandon Ingram is can come in and do certain things on this team that they want Scotty to do, which Brandon will do better. And then all of a sudden they'll see, oh, he's the glue guy. He's the magic. He's the Jason Kidd. And this makes way more sense. And now that we see Brandon in here just eviscerating teams with his amazing offensive game, and then also hitting clutch shots and winning games for us at the end of games too, everybody will be happy then. Because that's what's coming. Ingram is like that. And, Raptors fans, don't get all in a tizzy and weirdness until we see Brandon healthy. Because things can get fucked up. But he needs to be healthy and showing up. Cool Cat's saying, Lex, NBA Chev is not turned on the Raptors team. That's not what I'm hearing. He's also not pleased about Masai. He understands, but he also thinks it's being short-sighted in the long run. What do you mean being short-sighted in the long run? No, the dismissal of Masai was a horrible mistake and never should have happened. Of course, that's a horrible thing that happened. It's not helpful in any kind of way. Once again, you guys' comments are not fully fleshed out today. You guys got to give me the whole story. I'm not like he thinks it's not being short-sighted in the long run. What do you mean? Well, about what? Now Chev has turned on this team. If he's turned on Scotty, he's turned on this team. That's just the damn truth. You can tell me he hasn't, Cool Cat, but I don't trust him at this point. Once again, he's not from up here. What I described earlier could be true, that he's like a long-term like Knicks fan who's just fucking with us for years now. And in some ways, I don't trust him. I wouldn't trust NBA Chev to talk about the Raptors in a way without thinking he's compromised in some sort of way. Obviously, he's being an idiot with his opinions, so that itself should just discount from talking to him or listening to him. Because seriously, the pressure on Scott is totally manufactured by dubious forces that do not want Barnes in Toronto. And the people that carry it and parrot it and move it around other places, they're part of the problem. And Chev is part of the problem. That's it right there. That's all you have to say about it, Cool Cat. And he's against the Raptors if he's part of the problem. Shaq Lindsay saying Chev supports individuals, not the team. Disappointed in Chev. Yeah, that's no good. I don't like those kind of fans. I don't. I think that you should be with your team. If you want to be a fan of players, go ahead. I mean, it's fine. You want to be a fan of Siakam and move around with Siakam. My only allegiance is the Raptors. I love Scott. I love Masai. I love Darko. I love RJ. But in some ways, my allegiance to the Raptors supersedes all of it. I mean, I hate what happened to Masai. And in some ways, I want to get Ed Rogers back by turning my back on the team, just like a lot of people have decided to do. But I can't because I love the team, and the team is my number one priority. So that's the thing. It's like you can support individuals, but don't make Pascal bigger than the Raptors, NBA Chev. Cool Cat can do that in some ways because she's that kind of fan. But you're supposed to be an NBA Chev that's for the Raptors. And yeah, doting on individuals over the whole entire franchise is never the right move as far as I'm concerned. Being an individual fan is more symptomatic of recent years in the NBA. The old school NBA fans were team fans. And the individual fan, like being LeBron fan or Kobe fan, that's really a development in the last 25 years. It wasn't that way when I was a kid. You were a Laker fan, you were a Celtic fan, you were a Pistons fan, you were a Bulls fan, you were a Raptors fan. And that's why I don't get in this mentality. I love individual players. Don't get me wrong. And I wish so many good things for so many great Raptors. But they're never above the team. The team is number one. That's right. And if any of these people, like, turn their back on our team or say shit like Thad Young or Rudy Gay, fuck them. They get out of my good standings. So it's like, you can be in a good standing with the Raptors and I love you, but if you go rogue and you didn't after you played for us and you say some stupid shit, yeah, I'll turn on you. That's just how it is because it's team first for me. That's right. Shaq Lindsay is a good point to make there, that he's supporting individuals, not the team. Seymour's saying if it's not Raptor Freaks, I'm not interested. I mean, in some ways, I don't know how it is out there because I'm not checking the Raptors social media and channels and all that kind of stuff over and over again. Like, I'm really not. I'm sure that Hello and Welcome does really good work. They've done really fantastic interview with Bobby Webster recently. And I heard that their eulogy for Masai on Friday was fantastic. And, I would recommend them. I'd recommend my guy To The Point, Brian, even though he's a little crazy. There's other entities in the past that I've worked with, Confederacy of Dunks, Talking Raptors on Raptors Republic's fantastic podcast. I don't know if they still do it. Anything Samson Folk is connected to is absolute quality for sure. Locked On Raptors can be useful to an extent. But yeah, I mean, I have a niche and I have a particular percentage of the Raptors fan nation as far as that identifies with me. And I love that. I love that. And I appreciate you, Sheriff. Trevor's saying WNBA is extending to 18 teams over the next 5 years. That's fantastic news. The league is growing. And, Tempo are coming next, Portland, and there'll be some more teams coming after that. They're at like 12 right now. So, yeah, that means another five or 6 more teams coming. That's crazy. Wow. Cool Cat saying, guys, NBA Chev is consistent with his perspectives. Folks pissed because you currently disagree with his current opinions. Can't take it personally. He's passionate and colorful his expression. I don't watch him. Cool Cat. And I don't watch him because I don't want to rip him off. If I hear his opinions, I might echo them here. If I come about the same opinions separate from him, that's just minds thinking the same? No, I don't watch him. I can only go by what people are telling me here. And somebody came in here recently in the last couple of weeks. It was when you were away, and told me that he's been totally out of pocket recently, and I'm disappointed in him. And you can say stand up for him, but I'm saying this: if he's against Barnes right now, fuck him. That's what I say right now, Cool Cat. If he's against Barnes, it's that simple. Fuck NBA Chef. Anybody who's being critical of Scotty right now has no bearing to do that. They're being taught by the media to do it, and they don't need to. They really don't. There's nothing going on with Scott that's wrong. And that's why I say, fuck you, NBA Chef, this morning. You can be upset about that, Cool Cat. I don't care. I don't watch NBA Chef. And you can say he's consistent. You can say you can't take it personally. No, I'm taking it personally because he's attacking Scott. I'm not taking it personally for myself. I'm taking it personally because he's attacking Scott. And that energy is not necessary or needed, especially in the post-Masai world. That really isn't needed. It's very destructive and toxic. So fuck you, NBA Chef, for being a hater towards Scotty Barnes right now. And you need to shut the fuck up. And somebody can give him that clip that I just said. Go ahead, send it to him, clip me, and he can come and talk to me. I mean, seriously, that'd be a fun talk. Seriously, some of y'all were saying, I'd love for you to talk to Chef Lex. I would love to talk to him and have a little sit down and talk to him a little bit about the perspective from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, about the Toronto Raptors, and not just from New York City, New York, about the Raptors. That's what I say about that. That's right. Seymour's saying Halliburton, Suggs, and Eddie Jones are all cousins. Really? Halliburton's cousins with Eddie Jones? Hey, Eddie Jones is a great player. I love Eddie Jones. Kaloy's saying that list is crazy. Imagine firing Masai for Dwayne Casey. I mean, I don't think it's not a bad thing. Don't put down Dwayne Casey. Don't put down Dwayne Casey, Kaloy. He's an established great exec in the NBA. He was an exec for Detroit. In fact, his fingerprints are all over why the Detroit Pistons are in the playoffs right now. His fingerprints are all over the Raptors championship. So let's not act like that's a bad thing. If anything's going to be a step down, sure. But let's not slight Dwayne Casey. Dwayne Casey's a great basketball mind, somebody I very much respect and love. And he would be absolutely, if we are going to hire somebody instead of Bobby, he's the one. He's my first choice. He's my first choice because I trust him. And I know he has the right competitiveness and the heart in his mind to do the right job for the Raptors in the right way where he won't pull punches. He's going to really try and do the job correctly. I don't trust an outsider. I don't trust Bob Myers. I don't trust a businessman to do the job in a way that's for basketball and winning. A businessman may come in to do it business way and think about profit and shit like that. That's what I'm saying. When Keith Belly said he wanted to hire a businessman, I said, fuck you, Keith Belly. We don't need a businessman running basketball in Toronto. That's what I say right there. Yeah, Wayne's saying that there we have issues to talk about, not speculative trades. Honestly, I rarely read columnists because I see the mistruths, disinformation, avoidance of known truths. Only truth I know is what I see. Yeah. That's why it's gotten to the point where I won't read the articles by Doug Smith, Lewinberg, and Grange, even though they're informative. Sometimes they give me information that I need. If they're opinion pieces, I won't read them because in some ways, half the time there's some sort of weird ass like thing about it, why they're doing it. Especially Grange working for Rogers. Some of the articles that Michael Grange has written over the last 10 years have been absolutely fucked up. Like writing about Masai going to Washington over 10 years ago. He said, oh, for sure, Masai is going to Washington. There's all kinds of weird ass like stuff coming from them. That's why I'm with Wayne. I can understand basketball for myself. I can watch the games with my own two eyes. I can react to the games with my own two eyes. I can listen to the interviews with the people in the charge and the players with my own two eyes and ears, and I can suss it all out without Michael Grange, Doug Smith, or Josh Lewinberg telling me what to think. And that's what Wayne is saying here. And that's what I would say to everybody that's a Raptors fan, or even just in life on politics. You need to be the same way. Look with your own two eyes and figure it out for yourself. They're going to try and teach you what they want you to perceive and what they want you to be thinking is reality and truth. It's really dangerous time. Perception is being manipulated for power, and people need to be remembering what right and wrong is and judging for themselves with their own two eyes and ears and understanding in their heart and their intuition. Because there's a lot of people that are going to be out there misleading And it's starting, like, I was driving around yesterday, and an ad came on. I listen to YouTube music on my radio when I'm driving around, and an ad came on, and it was Wayne Gretzky on a talk show. And it was not a real clip, but they said Canadians are being lied to. People are taking these people are making this money. This is not a clip from a real talk show. They made an AI clip of Wayne Gretzky lying to people and literally saying Canadians are being lied to is the first line he says. Maybe some of y'all have seen this YouTube ad that's been popping up. Now pay attention to that Wayne Gretzky ad. That's not really him talking. That's an AI manufactured voice. And think about the intentions of somebody to manipulate reality to make it seem like Wayne Gretzky's saying this, and dumber people will think this is true. And it's a scam. It's an absolute scam. And this is just the cresting of the wave of absolute bullshit, fabricated AI bullshit that's coming towards us right now. So in some ways, everything that you see, you can't trust, and everything you hear, you can't trust, because they have AI. They have voice manipulation. They can mimic people's voices and make them say things they wouldn't say, and all kinds of stuff. So it's very important that we Windurst and critically think through everything, especially in politics and in the Raptors world too. So that's what I'm saying right there, man. That's right. Wayne, believe it with your own two eyes. That's the right way to be right there. That's right. Kaloy saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak fam. Still reeling from the Masai exit. I saw that Bobby and company extension is only for 2 years. Well, at least it's for 2 years. And well, let's take it day by day. In some ways, a lot of the security and the feelings of like, okay, we're in good shape are gone with Ujiri. And in some ways, we just got to continue to assess day-to-day basis what's going on with the Raptors. And, you know, we got to call out the bullshit from Friday and never let them ever stop hearing it. They got to hear what they did was wrong. And you got to keep coming at them, Raptors fans. You got to. That's right. Stargate saying, sorry, right now, MLSE optics are bad right now. Sorry, the hire will be a PR move. So I can see it being Webster, Casey, or the Bulls GM from Brampton. In some ways, you know, that's part of the reason why we need to continue to raise a stink. Because in some ways, as the fans, we have a very strong contingency as the people. And they don't want to lose money. That's the one thing Rogers cares about. And that's the one place where we can really hurt them. So if they realize they're losing money, they'll start kissing our asses in different ways. And maybe one of those ways is an optical PR move, like Stargate's saying, is here's Coach Casey's back and he's going to be the new team president. Or no, we're just promoting Bobby. We're not going to get somebody else to come in here and kind of mess things up. We're just going to let Bobby run the show, and we'll give him more help underneath him. That would be the ideal move. Now, I feel like Casey could work with Webster and it would be fine. And Eversley could also. So any of those three options would be okay with me. They would be approved. Now, if Rogers and Pelly are listening, and you really want to kind of appease the monster that is the Raptors fan nation that is pissed at you right now, maybe you start doing things to kiss our ass. That's what I'm saying right now. Maybe you start doing things and understand RJ's untouchable. Now, they may have shots fired on us, guys. Like they took a lot of glee in getting rid of Masai on Friday morning. Keith Pelly was smiling at the end of that press conference, if you noticed. Well, are they going to be very punitive and awful to the Raptors fan nation? Are we going to see something fucked up happen to RJ Barrett? And then we're all going to be really even more pissed off at them? That could happen too. It could go two ways. It could either be like what Stargate's saying. They're going to try and placate the Raptors fan nation and say, all right, we fucked up. We fired Masai. We shouldn't have. We're sorry. Please continue to come to our games. Please continue to buy our merchandise. Please continue to be a Rogers customer. We really fucked up, and we're going to do this. We're going to show an olive branch. We're going to just promote Bobby, and we're not going to screw with this. Or could they go in the opposite and say, we fucking hate the Raptors fans. We want to make them have misery. We're trading RJ Barrett today. Shit like that. We just have to pay attention to what they do and react to it. Whether it's a good move for us or a bad move for us, we will react to it. Let's just put it that way. That's what, you know, Kaloy saying they underestimated how Masai meant to the city. Oh, they had no idea because their egos were in the way. The only thing that Ed Rogers III saw was an uppity black man that was not respecting him the way he wanted him to. That's what he saw. And yeah, I use that word right now because that's a word he probably would use in that. It's like, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's like he didn't see the impact or anything like that. It's so short-sighted. It's absolutely personal, and it's not good for business. I mean, I was arguing with somebody on Facebook yesterday on a post saying this was totally a business decision. I was like, bullshit. This is not a business decision. This is a personal decision because he had no reason to do this. It's a bad business decision. He's immediately losing money because of this decision. He is absolutely losing money. And we don't even know the depths of how much money he's going to lose because of this decision, because this decision will reverberate for years and years to come. And he may have just destroyed the brand of the Raptors. This may have been the turning point where he destroys the brand of the Raptors starting now. That's the crazy thing. Ed Rogers don't even understand how important he was. He has no idea because his own ego blocks seeing anything other than I hate Masai because he's successful and he's in my face and I can't control the situation. Well, I now can, and I can finally fire him. And I can't wait to do it. I'm going to do it as soon as I can. I won't even wait till after the long weekend. I'll go ahead and do it on Friday morning, immediately after the draft, where we agreed he would be able to stay until then. Seriously. So they underestimate it, but they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it over time. And sadly, the Raptors brand is going to go down in price. It's not going to be worth as much. And that's part of what he needs to feel is seriously losing money, losing millions and possibly billions of dollars. Because that's what these idiots, egotists like Elon Musk and Donald Trump and Ed Rogers III, they lose money all the time because of their own damn ego, honestly. I mean, Elon fucking destroyed Twitter. Twitter used to be worth so much money, and he's lost so much money on Twitter. And the same thing's going to be said about the U.S. government. They fucked that government up so bad this year that they're going to lose way more money than any of the money they think they're saving for efficiency, because there's just going to be all kinds of calamity and stupid shit happening. Yeah, let's keep going. Smooth saying, I don't think they cared about that, man. Yeah, talking about how much he meant. Yeah, Messiah and what he meant to the city. Yeah, I mean, they may have cared. That may have been part of the byproduct. Is seriously, we're just gonna have to see how the Raptors is. Like next year could be really weird, guys. We could see the team having a totally different aura and energy around it because Masai's absence. And I want to see what the difference is. And it'll really point out just how much he was doing for us and just how much quality he was. We may see that we're doing things in a really weird half-ass ways that are not the same as what we used to. Let's just put it that way. Wayne saying, Fuckface said, prominent, successful business leader. That's what I'm sticking to until Fuckface reveals it was all bullshit. And it was not business. Besides exit while predictable was personal. Yeah, it's horrible business decision. If it's a business decision, it's a horrible one. And yeah, that's why it's exactly personal. It's very easy to point this out. Anybody says, oh, it's business. It's just business. No, motherfucker. This is a horrible business decision. Like I said, it's like this dude gave valuation to the Raptors brand and it went up in price, even in the last couple of years where we lost so much. It's not like our value went down during losing recently, but it's going to go down now because people understand that the driving force of the success of the Toronto Raptors for the last 13 years is gone. And a lot of the trust and the brand and the winning and all that kind of stuff's out the window as of Friday morning. And they don't even realize this, these idiots, man. Yeah, Blackhawk said, I was trying to say no time to mourn. No time to mourn? Yeah, we got time. Honestly, it's healthy to mourn. We all need to mourn things when they happen. If you don't mourn them properly, you're just putting off and you're probably going to cause problems for yourself later. No, we all need to mourn. And we all need to do it in our own way. And it's nobody's to dictate who should mourn this way or how you should mourn. No, everybody has their own way of mourning. Some people are going to turn their back on the Raptors and walk away. I don't blame you. That is, if that's what you want to do, you do it. Some of us will be mourning like physically, like real crying and sadness. Some of us will just be like pissed off. So, there's all different kinds of ways to be mourning. And some of us will write letters to Ed Rogers and tell him just how much of a piece of shit he is. There's all kinds of different ways to mourn this. And, you may be cold and insensitive to it. And you're just like, I don't need to mourn about this. Let's just keep going. But no, a lot of us have a real personal connection with Masai Ujiri. And also we got to remember what Masai stood for. He stood for a man of color being in a very high prominent position of power and somebody that actually was a very good role model for a lot of people. And that's another part of the problem here is that. And then the fact that, much like Adrian Griffin, it's another black guy who lost his job for no good damn reason. No good damn reason at all. And in some ways, this one's even more insidious because it's a white oligarch, idiot, rich, MAGA piece of shit that's doing it punitively. So, I mean, seriously, you can say we don't have no time to mourn, but we need to take in all account what happened and understand it from all angles, like I just said. So, Fiercely saying, I support the team no matter what, but I have zero confidence in the organization and future decisions. Yeah, in some ways, I don't blame her right now. I have confidence in Bobby. I have confidence in GM work, but I don't have confidence in the leadership from the top having the best interests for the Raptors to win and be successful. They can give us lip service. We want to get back to winning and championships. I ruined your weekend. They can say that shit, but that doesn't mean it's true. They've been telling that to us about the Leafs for how long? We want to get back to Stanley Cups and winning. Like, oh my gosh. Seriously, don't believe them when they say that shit. It's not necessarily the words, it's the actions that will prove to us whether you're trying to win or not, Keith Pelly. So yeah, it's like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Let's see. Holy crap! Wait, hang on. I jumped ahead. Blah 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 blah. All right, where am I? Ooh, Kenne's here. Good to see Kenne. All right. Caloy saying, yeah, they didn't, Reggie, but as with everything, public backlash is a thing. Okay, I don't know what that was. All right. Kenne saying Tempo will do great. I believe Teresa learned from Masai. Yeah, but he allowed her to blossom and be a fantastic exec and to become who she is. But a lot of that force, like you can see the energy around the Tempo already. And that energy was in the Raptors, like from before when she was with the Raptors. So that's what I'm saying. The absence and the presence of people will teach you just how much they were doing for the team. And Teresa Resch, you can absolutely see what she brought to the Raptors by what she's doing with the Tempo right now. And I think a lot of that stuff, like the Black Lives Matter buses and things like that, that was Teresa, because that energy is with the Tempo now. And we're gonna have to see the difference post Masai, what we're missing in absence of him. That we're gonna see what exactly we're gonna feel and see just how much Masai meant to this team, sadly, and it's gonna hurt to a degree. But we're also gonna be able to give him a lot more credit because we're gonna see, holy crap, I didn't even realize this was something that Masai was holding up for us and making us all right on and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Blackhawk saying they knew Masai was leaving at least 3 weeks ago and no one leaked it, including Masai. So we were chasing the tail on this one. This is an innocuous point. What do you mean? Masai's a professional. Masai's first. This is the thing. This says more about Masai than anything because Masai loves the Raptors. He really does. He loves the Raptors in the way that we love the Raptors. And that's why we trusted him. We loved him so much because he was for the Raptors like we are. And that's the thing. Even though he knew he was going to be gone, he's not selfish. He's not working from his ego like Ed Rogers. No, he thought better of the franchise and the health of the franchise, and he sacrificed in the betterment of that. He shut up and didn't want him causing destruction or any kind of distraction for the draft or anything coming up, and he went away quietly, and there wasn't a big to-do. And that is out of love for our team and not causing waves and worse things happening. He knew he couldn't fight it. He knew he couldn't do anything about it. So what is he going to do? He's going to spend the last 3 weeks of being in the front office of the Toronto Raptors with dignity and treat it with respect and kindness and love because he loves what he built here in Toronto. So I don't understand what you're not getting here, Neil. That's not an innocuous point. What does it matter if it was 3 weeks ago? He's a good man. He didn't want to ruin things for the Raptors because he's dutiful like that all the way to the end. There's not a callous bone in his body against us. He understands the whole scenario. He understands it is definitely just Ed Rogers here. And the love is strong in everything he did already still. And he did it in his last act of stepping aside and not making a big stink about it. Come on, let's just say this right here. Fiercely saying, in Masai we trust. His legacy will live forever. I'm sincerely wishing him success and look forward to what's coming next for him. Oh, he's going to be fine. Trevor's right. God is on his side. Trust me. He's going to be fine. Everything he does is going to be a success no matter what he does next. Watch. Wayne saying, it's between me and Blackhawk now. You keep talking about Masai going to Atlanta or Phoenix or Lakers. My point is he's not someone who needs a job tomorrow. So he's not a broke grunt. He foresaw this. Yeah, and he's quality too. Like in some ways, it's like he's not desperate to just go work somewhere else. I don't think he is going to go somewhere else this year. I really don't. I think that on the down low, if he is getting the money from Ed Rogers, which he should, because he's owed it, it's under a contract, it's legal. He should just sit out and not get money from anybody else and take that money from Ed Rogers. If that is what's happening this year, so be it. And in some ways, he doesn't need to rush back out and do something else. He's got a lot of things going. He could do his Giants of Africa stuff, not work for another team, and get $15 million from Ed Rogers. That's a great year for me. That's a great year for me if I'm him. And, you know, he gets to spend more time with his wife and his kids and do more with the work that he likes, he enjoys, like Giants of Africa and Basketball Africa League. What's not to like about that? Wayne's exactly right here. That means it's not like Nick Nurse. He's not going to be rushing out in a revenge tour with Daryl Morey. Now, if I'm wrong and all of a sudden Masai's showing up on another team, all of a sudden, well, we'll react then. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'll hope that he takes a year off and collects the rest of his money. That's what I would say there. So Kaloy's saying, I'm fine with someone like Orlando Robinson as a backup center. This is a non-issue. Yeah, I think that the center thing, a lot of people are making a big to-do about it. I know maybe, like I said, I may have generated a lot of angst about the backup center position this summer on my streams, and us avoiding getting a backup center in the draft was annoying. And now everybody's just like, we need to get a backup center. We need to get a backup center. But this is true. We could always circle back and get somebody like Orlando Robinson. Colin Castleton still is in the fold. So, you know, Bobby's a manager. He understands what he's doing, and he's got a plan. So we need to, in some ways, trust Bobby Webster, trust in Bobby, that he is still the GM, and he can do capable GM stuff for the Raptors still. I'm not really worried about the GM work. I'm worried about the ownership dictating to the GM what he has to do. I'm not worried about us making bad moves because I feel like Bobby's savvy and smart and good. I'm more worried about the control from the top at dictating things in a very not good way for our team. That's what I'm worried about right there. That's it. Reggie saying, maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part. I just can't see Masai taking another NBA team job. Toronto was his dream. He accomplished it. Yeah, in some ways, it's like you got to get the momentum up again to start all over in a new place, and it may not be anything like special like Toronto was. Toronto's very special. You know, if he goes and works for Atlanta, it's not going to feel special. It's going to be like very mundane and kind of like boring. And it may not be that exciting, honestly. And it may be more fraught with failure than success. And that's the other thing. He has to think about his legacy. He doesn't want to go and do another job and fail at it because it'll look weird. It won't look right. He has to go somewhere where he can be successful. That's why I think that the kind of job that would make the most sense for him is running an expansion team that's coming, because that's a whole new challenge, and he can put the stamp on it just like he did Toronto. If he goes to an existing team, I mean, if he went to the Lakers and he fixed the Lakers, he would be a very big a legend. He would be a huge legend in all kinds of ways if he went to the Lakers and fixed them. That's why I think the Atlanta job's not appealing to him, because there's no prestige in it. It's very much a step down, and it's very much not that exciting or fun, honestly. In some ways, the job for the Lakers would be opposite of that, and it would actually probably elevate him in some ways. The job running an expansion Seattle Supersonics coming back, that would also be a good challenge for him, and I could see him doing that. But, you know, any other Joe Schmo team, like the Wizards or the Hawks or the Bucks or anything, keep dreaming. That don't make no sense to me. Seriously. Now, we'll have to see if his loyalty is the same as ours to Toronto. Like, I would say if Masai's going to take a job in the NBA, it better be in the Western Conference, because we don't want to see him a whole bunch here in the Eastern Conference. And, you know, but I think it's more likely he's taking time off. I think he's taking time off. We'll just have to see what happens, man. We'll just have to see what happens. Blackhawks saying, there ain't nothing between you and I, Wayne. If you want to get into your knickers, so be it. Your time, not mine. Neil's awesome, man. I'm going to give him a dunk. I know that I've been confused about some of his comments, but Neil's a good sport, and we're just having discourse here. And none of it's personal, guys. None of it's personal. You guys want to make it between the two of y'all. Y'all better be WWE, and this is not serious, okay? I'll give you both dunks, all right? Just to show that it's lighthearted. All right, you got the 45 bus. Blackhawk, you're in Rexdale, baby. the Delano Banton and Trevor Wayne. Wayne is at 63 on the draft on the dunk chart. 63 for Wayne. Give me y'all both a dunk. All right, let's see. Neil saying Raptors already decided they like Castleton more than Robinson. I preferred Robinson as a stronger physical center. I agree with that, but they want Castleton for some reason instead. Although I'm telling you, he was not feeling the Canadian Anthem yesterday. That's a strike against you, Castleton. You better watch out. If somebody's got camera, man, you better watch out. We could still cut him and still sign Orlando Robinson somehow, some way. Watch, guys. So who knows? I was on Team Robinson too over Castleton with you guys. Yep. Wayne saying, not saying that either, Blackhawk. Lex gets confused when we don't specify who we're yapping about. It's for Lex. My bad, my friend. Yeah. It's been a little bit of confusing chat today because we've jumped from subject to subject and some proper nouns just aren't in place for me to get it right. I'd switch gears so quickly, guys. You know that I do. And that's part of it right there. Cool Cat saying, guys, NBA Chev is only now venting about Siakam. He kept his opinions quiet for a while to see the results. Now he's unleashing what he feared would happen. Other that vented early, he held back. Well, why is he even doing this? What's the fucking point of this? He should have vented before when he would have been more daring, but he waited till it was safe. I have no respect for that. He's a coward then. He waited until it was safe to come and vent about that. What a fucking coward. What a coward. He should have vented about it when it happened, when we didn't know what was going to happen. But he waited till it was safe to be right. Well, that's the exact opposite of what I do on this channel. I go ahead and make the opinions right away, and we'll see if I'm right or not. I don't wait like a pussy and wait to see what happens. Man, that makes me even more less respect for Chev. That he's dumping on this just because Siakam had a good playoff. What an idiot. He needs to shut the fuck up, Cool Cat. Don't stand up for him. He's an idiot. He should have said this shit when Siakam left last year instead of fucking wait until now. What a pussy. You going to come around with this now? What a pussy. Oh, boo-hoo. He's winning for the Pacers. I don't care. That's great. I love that. I love that he did so good with the Pacers. I wish he'd won Game 7, but he didn't. He failed. And he didn't get Game 7. And that's true. Pascal failed in Game 7. He didn't do Eye of the Tiger and take over, just like many times in the Raptors jersey. So, Chev, you can get all pissed off he's not on the Raptors because he was successful. But you know what? I also saw the problems with Siakam at the end of it, too. So let's get real here. Seriously. Let's get real here. Siakam's a great talent, great player in the first 3 quarters. But in the fourth quarter, he don't do jack shit. And in some ways, he didn't do nothing to help the Pacers in the absence of Halliburton win the Game 7 against the Thunder. So he showed me, I can make the same. This is what I'm talking about. Perspective is your reality. My perspective is Siakam had a successful run. I'm proud of him. He's amazing for Pacers, but he failed at the end and choked at the end, just like he did in many Raptors games. And maybe that is why his era in the Raptors didn't take off and happen. Chev, seriously. Because we couldn't depend on Siakam to be the franchise player to win the games for us at the end of the game. And that was years we tried to do this with it, and it was failures. And in some ways, we got to be honest about this. Siakam is a great player. He's an amazing player. I love Siakam. But his limitations and his issues were also there in this. So we look at this in different perspectives. I'm going to just say that. That's what I saw. A Game 7 that was there for the taking, and Siakam disappeared. Go ahead, Chev. It's safe to go ahead and come around now that you've seen success with them. What a pussy. You should have said this last year. That's what I say to that. I may have said this shit then. I may have said this on time in the beginning of this. But no, it is what it is. I don't think I did, though, honestly, because in some ways I knew that Siakam had to go. And I'm not doing this bullshit where it's like, I wish we had got rid of him. No, let's just accept reality and the events that have happened. And stop doing this, Chev. It's stupid, man. What you're doing is toxic and unnecessary. And honestly, it's just fulfilling his own ego, Cool Cat. There's nothing of value in it other than he's fulfilling his own ego and yelling and getting all indignant and self-righteous about something that honestly, he's a coward for doing so late. That's what I say to that. That's what I say to that right there. That's right. He held back. Well, what a pussy. He shouldn't have held back when he did in the beginning. Fiercely saying, great news about WNBA expansion. Currently 13 teams. Toronto Tempo will be 14th and then 4 more added. This is indicative of the success, and I will say it has to do with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and the other women in the WNBA, they're rising up and getting more prominent, like Sabrina, like Jewel Lloyd, like Aja Wilson. Yeah, it's fantastic. I love seeing this growth for the WNBA, and I'm so happy to dive into it very, very soon. Yeah, 13 teams with the Golden State Valkyries, Toronto Tempo, Portland coming back also next year. That's right. I like Angel Reese, but Clark is the catalyst, in my opinion. I think that's true. I think she's the number one catalyst for sure. But Angel Reese has her part in the whole thing too. And you know she's important for Caitlin Clark to be Caitlin Clark. You know that's true. That's right. Neil said, I know I typed Masai. If Lex didn't comprehend, that's his problem. I can't control how anyone wants to interpret. I can just say what I say. That's true too. In some ways, like we can say and plead and make our case, but if somebody's just deaf ears or they're just not able to understand you or because they don't want to, there's a problem there. It's not that I'm not trying to understand you. I am. But there is some miscommunication right now. It's all good. I love you, Neil. That's all that matters right there. Cool Cat saying, I've been watching Angel Reese since Maryland and LSU. I have been watching Aaliyah Boston since Gamecocks and Paige since college too. So my fandom of them just automatically carried the WNBA. That's cool. And that is going to be fun that you'll be able to see them in our market and go to games and see them. That's totally awesome. Who knows? One of them may end up on our team at some point, and that'd be fantastic. Yeah. I mean, listen, and the point that we are with the Tempo is we don't have a team. We don't have a coach. So it's like being a fan of the league and having pre-existing players that you already like. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In some ways, you know, you have grudges or fandom for different players going into this league season next year for the Tempo. And we'll have to see what happens with the expansion draft. There may be some familiar names on the Tempo's roster from, you know, our fantasy teams and different people that we're already kind of know about in the WNBA. That's for sure going to happen because there's going to be an expansion draft. So it's going to be exciting to see who the inaugural Toronto Tempo roster is. Trevor's saying Tyrese will miss the rest of the 2025-2026 season. So they're saying Halliburton is out. Now I'm going like you're not full name in this. It could be Maxey, but I know it's not Maxey. It's Halliburton's going to be out for the whole season. That's tough for Indiana, man. That's tough for Indiana. Fiercely saying when building the Tempo roster, there will be a star or veteran player. I calculated my move and chose Kayla Thornton on my fantasy league as she came from the New York Liberty. She's good. So you're welcome, fam. I just gave you a tip. Sharing is caring. I love it. And since you're sharing is caring going on, Fiercely, you can go ahead and get a dunk for fantasy advice. I love it. I love it. Look at that. Yeah, no, this is smart. I had her on my team last year, Kayla Thornton. And she was really good on Liberty. I forecasted if she's going to the Valkyries, she'd have a bigger work rate and workload, and she'd do more, and she'd be a better, more valuable player. And that makes sense. That totally makes sense. In some ways, you can see that with like that. You know, Toronto Tempo players will probably be very sought after in our WNBA draft next year. And it could very well be that like you can project from things that they're doing this year, the new players, when they come to Toronto, and an expansion on their stats because they're going to have a bigger role on the Tempo coming from the team they were on before. Because the way it works is all the teams protect certain players, and a player that may be either like the sixth woman or really like not high rotation, like maybe not one of the starters. Maybe one of the starters, though, in some cases, will be exposed in the expansion draft and available to the Tempo to try and draft. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see who it is. And I'm excited about that. Thank you for the sharing this caring, Fiercey. Thank you. You get a dunk. Boom. There you go. Kaloy saying, can Larry buy another NBA team close to Toronto? Fuck MLSE. I love that. That would be fun. I was still hoping that somehow, some way he could win. He could buy the Raptors straight up. But no, the case is we got King Edward now. And honestly, it sucks, man. It really, really does suck. The reign of King Edward is official now with Masai gone. And the post-Masai era is the reign of King Edward Rogers III. King Edward III. This fuckface. This motherfucker. Fuck Kings. Piece of shit. Piece of shit. Blackhawk saying Care Bear. Care Bear. What, the Care Bear stare? Care Bears are funny, man. In some ways, I knew that the Care Bears were kind of like a girl toy when I was a kid, but they were like, out of all the girl toys, they were like the one that I was like, man, Care Bears are kind of cool, man. They're kind of cool because they were kind of ambiguously for both male or female. It was very much there's boy and girl toys when I was a kid, but I think the Care Bears were almost kind of like the almost marketed to both to a degree. They really were. It's a little bit more friendly to boys than Rainbow Bright or My Little Pony. The Care Bears. Yeah, they're talking about Care Bears all of a sudden. Care Bear stare. Wayne said the Toronto article was written by a non-basketball knucklehead by suggesting that we didn't draft a center because Scotty is to fill that role. Same idiots reporting trading Jakob all the time. Okay, see now I understand. This is Wayne's giving me information that makes sense. Toronto's son, idiot, is it Wallstott or whatever, whoever it is, they're misinformed, and yeah, they're just throwing weird darts. They're going to say we need a center, and then they're going to say we need to trade Jakob. Okay, what are you saying then? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Neil said, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on, Wayne. Okay, this is good. We're getting to consensus here. Trevor's saying Commissioner's Cup tomorrow for the championship, Indiana versus Minnesota, 8 p.m. Minnesota Lynx have been absolutely the best team in the WNBA this year. And, well, they're going to be playing for the Commissioner's Cup against the Fever tomorrow. Well, let's see if Indiana can get this one and not miss this one. That'll be interesting. Stargate saying, yeah, I'm looking at Chev's side eyes as well. Yeah, I don't trust them anymore, man. I don't trust them. Nobody needs to be going after Scott. Seriously, nobody needs to be going after Scott. And people going after Scott, you're doing dirty work for people that don't like the Raptors. I'll say that over and over again. And Chev, even if you have the best intentions, and even if, as Cool Cat says, he's still with us, I don't believe it, because I don't believe what people say. I believe what they do. Actions speak louder than words. And if his actions are that he's coming at Scotty, even if he's saying things with it, I'm like, you know what? No, this is wrong. I'm getting a bad feeling from you, bro. And in some ways, we're in a bad position right now. We don't need people doing this. We need to shore up the defenses and take stock and be smarter, Raptors Nation, because we're in a crisis now. We're in a crisis time. And now's not the time to get flaky and toxic and go crazy on your team in certain ways. If you're going to be that way, just walk away. Seriously. If you're going to be that way, Raptors Nation, and you can't handle what's going on with the changes post-Masai, just walk away. Seriously. You'll do us all a favor. You do yourself a favor. You'll save up some time and misery. You let the people like us who are committed to stick around through the bullshit and try and still be true fans as much as possible. We'll try and take care of shop while you're gone. But if you really can't handle a post-Masai world without being overly toxic and critical, just fucking walk away, please. I ask that to anybody who's in Raptors Nation right now. Seriously. If you're going to come with that action now, we don't need it at this point. We don't need it at this point. Cool Cat saying, here's a perspective. NBA Chev loves Fred VanVleet because he's undrafted and got it out of the mud against all odds. However, he also critiques Fred very hard. He critiques Scotty hard. He's an NBA great potential. Yeah, but I say this. When is it necessary and when is it not? And I'm saying right now, we're in a bad position in general around our team right now. Masai. That's it. That's all I have to say. This is not the time to kick us while we're down, is basically what I'm saying, Cool Cat. He can go ahead and think, oh, I'm a critique. I'm a critic. I can critique. Nobody gives a shit what you have to say to a point, Chev, because in some ways it's not going to change the world. So it's like, go ahead and feed your own ego by coming out and critiquing things. That's the only thing you're doing is for yourself. Seriously. I know I do the same thing, and I'm calling the kettle black, but I'm trying to say what I'm saying is we don't need this kind of energy from him right now. And he needs to read the room, and he needs to check himself is what he needs to do. Seriously. It's not like he's the end all be all, and it's not like he's going to help Scott with this. He's hurting Scott is what he's doing. And if he thinks he's doing it out of a good nature to help him, it's not coming off that way. And he needs to stop. That's what it is right there. That's what it is right there. It's like constructive criticism. Well, what the fuck is he going to teach him? He's not going to teach him nothing. Brian Macon's in a bed from a heart attack. He can teach Scotty something. Darko can teach him something. Brandon Ingram can teach him something. But Chev's not going to teach Scotty anything. So who the fuck is he to criticize him and tell him how he should be? Seriously. Seriously. I mean, seriously. You can't stand up for Chev on this, Cool Cat. I'm sorry. If he's fucking coming at Scott in our weakened state right now as a franchise, fuck him. That's all I got to say. And you can clip me out. All the stuff I'm saying about NBA Chev today, show it to him. I'm not scared of him. I'll fucking talk to him. I'll tell him I'll get on his live stream with him. and I'll talk straight up with him, do it the way I do it on this channel, and we'll talk back and forth. It'd be very entertaining, I'm sure. But if he has a problem with me coming at him for defending Scott, and I have a problem with him for coming at Scott, well, we got a problem then. And that's it. That's it right there. That's it. Wayne's saying, honestly, Lex, you have highlighted Scotty's shortcomings too, which was fair. Shortcomings on players we love as well. You have critiques. Pascal has been worthy of criticism in the past, but fairly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I get on Scott for things like looking back when he's dunking. I get on Scott for extra shit that's not important and not necessary. And you know what? He's actually kind of listened. You can tell because his game's matured. In the beginning, he did that look back dunk. He did some sloppy stuff, but he's tightened up. And in some ways, there were other things he tightened up on, like arguing with the refs. I was very critical of Scott for being too emotive with the refs and coming at them. He needs to generate better relationships with the NBA officials and talk to them a certain way, and he'll get better results. And he did. He changed that in the last year or so. See, look, I'm looking at everything with him, and I don't think Chev is. And the progress is not just in points per game, guys. There's so many other things to basketball. And in some ways, he's maturing as an adult, as a man from a boy. He came in this league as a kid who's on Twitch playing video games with us. And now he's a father. And now he carries himself in a lot more astute, mature way. And, he's growing in other ways other than just basketball. And people need to understand that. So, yeah, I've been critical of Scott, but I've only been critical of Scott in instances when I knew my criticism would help the team and it would get him to stop doing a bad, toxic behavior where it wasn't helping our team, whether it was with the referees, whether it was the extracurricular shenanigans that he'd been doing since middle school that are absolutely not necessary in the NBA game. Because you show people up like that, you give them more motivation to come back and kick your ass. And the NBA is a tough league already enough. You don't need to give them ammunition by showing people up in different ways. That's not necessary. You can do it in certain cases when it's a scrub. He is not him. Yeah, you can do that kind of stuff. I'm not saying Scotty shouldn't be his personality. I'm just saying that there were some things that he did that was unnecessary before that I criticized him for. And I was right on that because that's helpful for the team. He can't stop doing some of this stuff with the refs. It's helpful for the team. And in some ways, what they're criticizing Scott for is unnecessary because it's not even tangible or real. It's a made-up media prop that Chev is bitten on like a hook, line, and sinker like an idiot. Honestly. Let's see. Blackhawk saying, I'm looking at everyone sideways. We have to in this world today. We really do. Cool Cat saying, everyone give NBA Chev time to release his grief over losing Siakam. He was quiet for a long time. Left out loud. Oh, my gosh. His grief should have been worked out last summer. His grief should have been worked out in the second half of the season that he was in the Pacers jersey and not in the Raptors jersey. Nah, this timeline's stupid. This seems opportunistic. And the timing's really suspicious to me, Cool Cat. I mean, you can build a case for Chev. I'm glad that we have an advocate for him here in this discussion because it gives two sides. But no, come on. I said grieve things on the proper time. And, well, this is way too late. Seriously. This is way too late. It's like, don't put off grieving like Chev did. That's why it's toxic, and that's wrong. Go ahead and feel it in the moment and deal with it earlier on. Move on with your life. Seriously, these aren't excuses right here. These aren't excuses. Neil saying, a whole lot of people said blame Masai and blame Bobby for the CMB pick without knowing the details. I get it. People want a backup center, but know the truth before jumping to conclusions. All right. Listen. When we made that pick, we thought Masai was still in charge, but he wasn't in charge of that pick. Once again, I'm going to say this again. Masai didn't make those picks, okay? He didn't make those picks. Keith Pelly said on Friday he led the team in the draft. That doesn't mean he made the picks. He just was in the room and he was the leader, and he was still the team president at that point. That's all that means. It doesn't mean that he actually made the picks or decided who was getting picked. That's what you need to understand. It's a little bit of you got to suss this out and discern what he said. He said he led the team. He didn't say that he made the picks. Let's make this very clear. Now, you're saying that, well, we blamed this or this. Look, I don't know if Colin Murray-Boyles is the right pick or not. We'll find out in the future between Murray-Boyles and Common Malawach. Now, the part that Rich Paul gave to the puzzle piece shows us that Malawach wasn't for us either way, that Clutch and Rich Paul was not going to let him come here. So that does help us feel better that Malawach was never actually going to be a possibility because of that. But we can also ask the questions, Blackhawk, is this because Rich Paul, being an insider of the NBA, knew that Masai was on his way out? And in some ways, he's a Masai guy, and he's like, fuck you guys, you don't get Common now. We were going to give you Common a month ago, but now that I hear that Masai's on his way out, nah, you don't get him. There's all kinds of ways we can look at this, Blackhawk. And you're right, we don't know all the stories, but in some ways, we want answers, and we can try and speculate. And as we get pieces of evidence, like the Rich Paul clip, talking to the Phoenix Suns, Matt and Sheba, we get more of the picture. But yeah, let's not get it twisted. Clutch did not want him on the Raptors. Whether he didn't want him on the Raptors a month ago or just recently, that is to be determined. We don't know. It could very well be the plan was to get Malawach here when Masai was still safe and was going to be in the job for another year. But we can also speculate that Rich Paul wants to diversify where his African centers are and that they're not in the same place. We could say that too. That sounds like that makes sense. Cool Cat's saying Scott Pelly. He's not Scott Pelly. He's Keith Pelly. Keith Pelly is a business focused, as per Rogers' perspective. We've got to let it unfold. Laugh out loud. Yeah, he's a businessman. He's a hatchet man. He's a piece of shit. He's like Beast Man to Ed Rogers Skeletor. You know, it's all that kind of shit right there. You like that reference, guys? Does Lex get a dunk for making a He-Man reference? He's Beast Man to Ed Rogers Skeletor. Wayne saying, and that's it right there, Blackhawk. If Rich didn't release the information, we would still be blaming Fuckface and his asshole boss. It was a great agent and player move. Well, we could still blame them for it. We could still blame them for it because, like what I just said, maybe we don't know if Rich Paul changed his mind about where Common was going to go. It sounded like that was a last-minute thing he was doing, right? Seriously, think about this. Think about this. What if Rich Paul, because I can do this, Winder shit, what if Rich Paul was talking to the Raptors and landing him with us, Common, and then he got wise to the fact that Masai is going somewhere all of a sudden in the middle, and he said, no, fuck that. I'm for African having a top job in this league like Masai. I love working with him. In fact, I want more guys like him in charge of places around the NBA, and this is the wrong direction. Fuck the Raptors. And all of a sudden, at the last second, he's calling Phoenix Suns owner, Matt Sheba. You want Common? I'll give him to you. I'll give him to you. You want him now? You want him? Yeah, you want him? You want him? You got him. You got him. I mean, we could speculate that too. That could be the whole rest of the story too. Isn't that plausible? That Rich Paul diverted Common away from us as soon as he got wind that Masai was on his way out? I mean, that's totally plausible what I just said, guys. Isn't it? So, I mean, Blackhawk can be saying, oh, we shouldn't jump to conclusions and figuring it out. Maybe that's what I'm doing. But I'm also trying to put the pieces together in a way that seems like it fits and logically makes sense. Like, seriously, what if the plan was we were going to get Common Malawach 2 months ago before all the wheels started turning and Ed got all itchy to pull the trigger on firing Masai? Seriously, guys, seriously, right there. Right there. Neil saying, of course, Keith Pelly was smiling at the end of the press conference. He had 3 weeks to perfect his delivery. He basically patted himself on the back. That's why that I see they're evil. In some ways, this is a sad fucking day in the history of Toronto and Canada. And this guy thinks it's a joke. And that just tells you enough about the energy behind these fucking pieces of shit right there. That's right. In some ways, that little smile is like Elon's little Heil Hitler that he did after the inauguration. It's just a little wink to, certain entities in this world that are fucking absolute pieces of shit. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I hope we still get Caribbean night and Giants of Africa night. We won't. Non-basketball fans attend and have fun. Some of my neighbors only go to those teams. They don't watch ball at all. That's what I'm saying. That's how he's going to lose business. There's no way Giants of Africa night is going to happen with the Raptors this year. In fact, that's one of the main things that Ed Rogers want cut out, or will racist MAGA piece of shit. Seriously, Cool Cat, I feel like you're naive with Republicans, conservatives, and just government in some ways. Maybe it's partly because of your job and what you do and what you see. But I feel like you're naive to Doug Ford, naive to Ed Rogers, naive to certain forces, seriously, and not understanding exactly what's happening here. There's a lot of this is racial. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, don't be surprised if both those nights are gone next year. I can tell you for sure Giants of Africa won't be there. What do you think that's going to happen? How is that going to happen? That's Masai's company. And they just dismissed him. How the fuck is Giants of Africa going to happen on the Raptors next year? Seriously. Get ready for the Raptors to be de-urbanized. Seriously. I wouldn't be surprised if they take the dance teams and get rid of most of them, and they come back with a predominantly white dance squad that looks like the Lakers girls, like they had around 2000. You've got to understand that Masai and Teresa had huge fingerprints over making our team very cool in the ways that you're talking about. And all that's out the window because Mike's on Discord saying that the Rogers plan is to put us all consolidated together, the three sports, and treat us all equally through one channel. You know we're not going to be treated equally in that situation with the Leafs and the Blue Jays, that we're going to be put in the same place with them because it's all consolidated and monopolized. And in some ways, we're going to get treated like we were when I worked for the company, where we were an afterthought and like the third team on the totem pole and the ranking, as far as we were separate with Masai in charge, and we had our own bag and our own thing. This is something y'all aren't realizing exactly about what's changed. Is we go back to the pecking order of being below those other two teams and not separate in our own entity. And we are going to be feeling this in ways y'all don't totally understand if you're more recent Raptors fans. If you just became a Raptors fan in the last 13 years while Masai's been in charge, you're going to see a totally different team and feel to this team. And you're going to be shocked at just how different it is. Seriously, I'm going to tell you that right now. In fact, I'm thinking about it more with what Keith Pelly said. He said something like, we're going to have to see how his legacy stands going forward. No, that sounds like that motherfucker would be double speaking and saying that we're going to tear his shit down now that he's gone and take every remnant that Ujiri touched and get it out of here. And the silence of the franchise, the players and different people not coming out and supporting Masai or saying thank you, Masai, or anything is very telling of what I'm talking about right here. Because in some ways, this guy's so punitive, he might go get any Masai loyalist to this point afterwards. And Bobby's got to be smart. In some ways, he's got to distance himself from Masai, but also at the same time try and balance using Masai's techniques and the way he would have done things under Ed Rogers still. And everything that Masai did is not what Ed Rogers wants. He's going to try and clear cut it. He's MAGA. Do you think we're going to have Giants of Africa or any kind of urban or any kind of that kind of stuff around our team ever again? No, we're not. That's part of the reign of King Edward. You've got to understand. Let's not be naive here. Neil's saying Ed Rogers firing Masai is a business decision, but doing that the day after the draft is personal. This is not a business decision. Because once again, Neil, I'll say this. If it's a business decision, he's still paying him the money he's got to pay him. If it's a business decision, he's going to lose a lot of money for doing it. It's bad business. It's completely personal. You don't make a decision like this without a grudge. You don't make a decision like this without emotion. You don't make a decision like this without, doing it completely for your ego and not actually even thinking about what it does to your own company, because it's bad business. No way you cut it. It's bad business. Even paying Masai $15 million is a drop in the bucket for what he brings back to that team. Seriously. So that's why I said in the stream yesterday in the title, Ed Rogers, a man who will cut his nose to spite his face. That's exactly what this is right here. Exactly what this is right here. That is it right there. All right, let me find my place in the chat. Wow, we're going another 3-hour stream. It's just how it is, man. It's just how it is, guys. We got to get this all figured out. Let's see. Neil's saying also, we knew Pelly came in to fire Masai. He just did it like a snake in the grass. Execution with classless. No, I thought that when they hired him, I was like, this is the man who's probably going to fire Masai. I didn't want to say it out loud because I didn't really want it to be on the stream or perpetuate it or put that energy in the world. I was trying to keep it down the down low, but I was pretty sure when they brought Keith Pelly in, that's the hatchet man that's going to be the one who's going to send Masai out of here. I was pretty sure. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to see if, maybe we could kiss his ass a little bit and say, okay, he's a good guy and help keep Masai on the team. But alas, the directive was there. And in some ways, this is something that Ed Rogers wanted to do 4 years ago. And Keith Pelly, when he got hired in the interviews, like, I'm sure Ed Rogers is like, hey, Keith, how you doing? Thank you for helping me get NHL programming on Sportsnet 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Would you be willing to fire Masai Ujiri for me? That's why I want to hire you. That's basically it. Oh, my master. Ah, I would love to kiss your ass and fire Masai Ujiri for you. Ah, have a great weekend. Oh, great. I thought you would be like that. You've always been a good toady. Here you go. Pet, pet, pet. You know, that's could that be the interview that Ed Rogers had with Keith Pelly when he hired him as MLSE president? He's like, oh, listen, forget about the Leafs, forget about all the other teams. The one thing I really want to hire you for is to fire Masai. I fucking hate that guy so much. Yeah, right there, guys, right there. Seriously. Kaloy saying, I just hope that this move by Slimy Pelly was just to appease his daddy and smart business. No, let's not get it twisted. He's an arm of him. It's not, he's not going to change and just do one bad thing to us and change, and that's it. No, I'm telling you right now, Ed Rogers will try and tarnish and take away the legacy that Ujiri built in our team. Seriously, he will actively try and dismantle it. I don't want that to happen. I'm not rooting for it. It's just I'm looking at things with my eyes wide open and understanding the parameters here. So, you know, the change that's why I'm saying we got to pay attention to how this team changes and call it out. Call it out as it does. Seriously. Seriously. Wayne's saying, understand this, freaks. If you're making me money, I don't have to like you or talk to you. Super rich people, I hate Trump, but he makes them money and they put up with his stench. Idiots fire the golden goose. Yeah. And Masai was a golden goose for the team. And in some ways, that's why this is so personal, guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is not a business decision. There's nothing about it that smacks of business. It's so personal, guys. So personal. Blackhawk saying Keith Pelly is the modern day Richard Petty, effing dweebs. Yeah, that's exactly right. And in some ways, that's the thing I'm worried about is Richard Petty was meddling with the Raptors on the down low in a very deceitful way that people don't even understand to this day. Like he was an inept idiot, but that may have been partly on purpose, hiring Rob Babcock and then leading to Vince Carter's departure. That's why I'm so worried about the noise around Scotty, guys, because we need to be careful. When we start losing people in our front office and our coaches, this can lead to losing superstars. And that's why y'all need to not be adding energy to this whole thing. Seriously. Seriously. Mo's saying, what a time for those rookies. Yeah, it's cool. Good to see Superfan Mo checking in. Yeah, it's cool that they were singing the anthem and going to the TFC game. It's very, very cool. Neil's saying, of course, that they knew Masai would be gone in 3 weeks. It matters because we are the ones dealing with the news. Look at the execution. It could have been done this week to distance it from the rookies. There's all kinds of ways they could have handled it better. They could have gracefully let Masai run more a year under his contract, and we could have said this goodbye to him next year. But no, Ed Rogers hates him that much. He needed to get rid of him as soon as possible. This is all checks with what I'm saying, guys. Don't try and look at it any other way. Seriously. Seriously. Yeah, I'm Seth fucking Rollins. Okay. There's the classic card and cutoff, guys. I appreciate that. Monique is saying that so Lex, Kimberly all in for Bobby Webster and Dan Tolzman. There you go. So she wants them to just get promoted and nobody come in to replace Masai. I agree with that. But once again, let's see what they do and how they do this. And we'll read between the lines. And if it's Ed Rogers' little ego play to show Ujiri that he is replaceable as a person, that will be what it is. He didn't want to replace Shanahan because maybe Shanahan's irreplaceable in his eyes, but Ujiri, oh, he's replaceable because I said so, but he's not. That's the thing. He's not. He's not replaceable, you idiot. But he's going to try and prove a point by still having a team president just for the Raptors. It's such bullshit, man. They should just not have a team president for the Raptors. Just let Bobby be a GM, have an assistant GM, and then add another assistant GM. And then you got 3 people still working. Seriously. Let's see. Reggie's saying, yeah, there's a lot of instances where Pascal could have taken the keys to the castle, but didn't. He had all the opportunities in the world. Now, that's what I'm saying. Players grow and progress on their own schedules. Is it wrong for Siakam? Is he a bad person because he couldn't do these things that we demanded of him? No. In some ways, it's just the limits of what he does and who he is. He's fantastic in so many other ways. And that's the difference in different player builds. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. This kind of energy, in some ways, I wish Siakam had been more that guy because it would have fixed a whole lot of things in this era in some ways. But it sadly just wasn't true. And even with him and Fred and OG together as a contingency, they just weren't making up the part of the team leadership that gets you to the top with wins at the end of the game. Freddie could do so much. Pascal could do so much. OG could do so much, but it's not enough. And in some ways, they weren't the high-level superstar that could do the absolute work like a Kyrie Irving. And that's what the difference is here. If Siakam had stepped up and done that more as that leader-type franchise player, which in some ways we weren't totally sure he had it in him, he's a more vocal leader on the Pacers at this point, and he's growing into it more. But that's, once again, players are going to grow on their own schedule. And fans, you demanding players to do certain things by certain times, that's not how it works. I would have demanded things from Siakam 4 years ago that we didn't get. And I was hoping he would do. But in some ways, it's like, I got to just let him be him. And he's going to do what he's going to do. You know, does that make sense what I'm saying here? Does that make sense? Trucker Cass saying, yeah, I stopped listening to Chev a while back. Who wants to listen to someone who lives in New York talk about the Raptors? Like, who are you? I know. In some ways, it's like, I loved his passion in the beginning, and he really was really fun. Like, he was really fun and funny. But, man, I don't like that he's turning heel right now. Seriously, he's got to stop this, man. And if he's getting feedback from people like the RFF and other fans from the Raptors Nation, they're like, bro, just lay off Scott, please. And you know what? You don't need to do this for Siakam. You really don't. You don't need to do this for Siakam. It's way too late. And honestly, it's just unnecessary, toxic energy that nobody wants. Seriously. It's not entertaining to Raptors fans to hear you dump on Scott. It's not entertaining to us to hear you talk about how we fucked up because Siakam's gone. We can't do anything about this. So, Chev, kind of get outside your own head and look at yourself from the outside and kind of understand you're fucking up right now. Seriously. Mo's saying, W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Mo. I needed your cutoff. I'm at 2.5 hours. Wayne's saying that's not quite accurate regarding Chev. With all the trade talk about Pascal when he was here, Chev was saying not to trade him. He vented at the trade, but briefly, main point is Scotty wasn't ready. Yeah, I don't know the timeline or anything. Like I said, I have not watched him consistently in a long time. In a long, long time. So I don't know the timeline. I could see him complain about it. I mean, I complained about it too, to a degree, but I also knew that this is what we needed to do. I mean, seriously, y'all, we can woulda, coulda, shoulda, all kinds of things, but reality is reality. And things happen for a reason, and you go down the road that way. Like Ed Rogers firing Messiah, it happened for a reason, a really ugly, disgusting reason, but it happened, and we have to pick up the pieces and go forward from this. Whether it's Messiah's departure or Pascal's departure, we've got to pick up the pieces after these things and move forward with the future in mind and not looking back so much. That's part of the problem. Chev's looking too far back, and he's stuck in the past. In some ways, we got to keep moving forward, or we're not going to get anywhere. That's right. That's what it is right there. Cool Cat saying, Coach Carlisle coaches a point guard-led system. Can't blame Siakam on Game 7. It's lost. Never run the offense through Siakam. He has to depend on point guard to get the ball. Barkley critiqued the Pacers for not using Siakam too. I agree with all that, but this is an extraordinary circumstance. And you don't get this many opportunities to do this. Siakam needed to get in a certain mode. I really blame the whole team for the Game 7 loss. And maybe it's not right for me to put it on him, but he's the next likely guy to step up and be the man, next man up mentality, and he did not do that. That's just it. And you know what? We can blame Carlisle for not changing his offensive system to suit towards Siakam a little bit more so that he could take them home and win that last game. I also blame that team for being too much of pussies and crying too much. They were whining and crying way too much during that game after Halliburton got hurt. They're idiots. You're in Game 7 coming up, and you know there's a high probability chance that Tyrese Halliburton will get hurt and leave the game. Weren't you prepared for that? Why wouldn't you think about that, Siakam? Why wouldn't you think about that, Andrew Nebhard? Why wouldn't you think about that, Benedict Mathurin? That, you know what? There's a high probability that Tyrese Halliburton might get hurt and have to exit the game. Y'all didn't look like you were prepared for that. Y'all went to shambles. Y'all acted like little pussies and cried most of the rest of the game and didn't actually try and work hard or play hard or do it for Hallie. And in some ways, that I lost respect for the Pacers for that. That they had two choices. They had the choice to man up and next man up and come and try and win it for him, or to roll over and get in their feelings. And, well, the sad thing is that they did that other one. They got in their feelings and rolled over. So, yeah, I shouldn't blame Siakam specifically, but he was the number one person that could have stepped up to help after Tyrese went out. Like, you can't deny that, especially with how much he carried them through the whole playoffs. and how much he didn't do jack shit in the second half of the game 7. We know that's true. I mean, I know your proclivity is to defend him. You love him. You love him. You're going to do that. But this is just the damn truth, Cool Cat. And I'll give this to all of them, not just him. I give a lot of credit to TJ McConnell for trying to hold them together in the third quarter and doing everything. Some people say, no, he's a ball hog. He kept the ball away from. No, nobody was doing shit. Nobody was standing up or doing anything except for TJ. And I give a lot of credit to him for that. He came up too short and he didn't do enough. I give credit to Benedict Mathurin for going through him more and him being more powerful. But it just wasn't enough. And they needed the other guys to step up. Obi Toppin, absolutely his fault too. Absolutely his fault for game 7 loss. Not showing up and doing enough to help his team win. Neesmith didn't play enough, got fouled out, felt really awful after that, missed all of his shots, didn't score hardly at all either. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not looking at this either way. I'm completely unbiased between the Thunder and the Pacers when I covered this finals. I was rooting for the Pacers to win, but in some ways I can be honest and fair about why the Pacers failed to win the championship this year. I can be real honest and fair about it. You know, Coolcat saying Siakam was asked many times through interviews why offense doesn't run through him. He smiled and said Pacers have a style of ball and principles that the team sticks to. Well, this is once again, you know, this is a symbol of like, all right, Siakam's a player build from the old NBA in a way. He's from the superstar era because he thrives on isolation and getting the ball in the post and just being on his own and doing everything. In some ways, that's LeBron and Kevin's era, and it's dying, honestly. In some ways, the era of Darko and Rick's systems is the future. And in some ways, Siakam, he didn't really totally fit with Darko's system. In some ways, he doesn't totally fit with Rick's either. But they figured out how to make it work in Pacer land. And, you know, I get it. In some ways, you know what it is? Just like Jonas Valanciunas may have been deemed a dinosaur from the past as a center and the way he was, even though he's still in the league up until last year. You know, Siakam's game is a dinosaur in the new NBA coming up. It's more team-oriented. In some ways, the way Siakam plays is the way that people played in 2010s, not in the way people are going to play past 2025. And team-oriented teams are going to be more important. And in some ways, that's tough. I mean, in some ways, it's like, how do you change Siakam to be a different kind of player? I don't know how you do that. In some ways, he has a body of work to be who he is and how he's done what he's done. Let's not get it twisted. This isn't the world to kiss Pascal Siakam's ass world. This is a world where Siakam has to figure out how he fits in the NBA, not how the NBA fits around him. Let's just put it that way. Wayne's saying, that's my take too, Cool Cat. The point guard McConnell lost the game, not Pascal. See, I see it exactly the opposite. I see a high-pressure situation where everybody's ineffective except for TJ McConnell. And at least he's trying. I know some of y'all say he was the reason why they lost, like Wayne's saying here, but I don't see that. I see him as one of the few that were actually stepping up, next man up to try and carry them. And I can't get mad at him for that because he did this throughout the playoffs. He was doing all kinds of little areas where he was absolutely scoring like crazy for them and caring for them. And it was usually around the third quarter. So I had no problem with what he did there. In fact, that may be partly Carlisle's style. It's like, all right, TJ, it's your time. Go ahead and get out there and do what you do. That's right. Siakam is not the player to grab the reins. Wish he was like that, but he ain't. It's a team guy. I think part of it is his personality. He's just not really an aggressive guy in some ways. He's an optimal top-level athlete in so many different ways. He has an amazing body frame for playing basketball. He's got an amazing work ethic. But in some ways, he doesn't have that Michael Jordan killer instinct. He doesn't have Mamba mentality. He has the Rosen code because he's loyal and he works hard and he busts his ass. But in some ways, he just doesn't have, in some ways, a competitive spirit on a certain level that the very, very truly greats have. And that is the biggest problem here, is that in some ways, he just doesn't have that Mamba, like, I'm going to finish the game and close it out because I want to fucking win this game no matter what. And it's sad because he has all the skills in the world to be absolutely unstoppable. And he could do this if he tapped into this type of his personality, but I don't think it's in his personality. That's part of the problem. I don't think it's in his personality to a degree. And that's too bad. I'm not trying to dump on Siakam. I'm just trying to be very eyes wide open and fair about this. I'm just trying to get that. Blackhawk saying, I've seen boys into Care Bears and Cabbage Patch Dolls. Yeah, I know it's like, but in some ways, everything was so gendered when I was a kid. as far as toys. Blue toys for boys, pink toys for girls. And Care Bears were in the middle there. Care Bears were a little ambiguous. Yeah, a little ambiguous. Cabbage Patch dolls were kind of like that too. Yeah, that's true. Neil's saying Pascal is fully bought into the Pacers offense. He has not tried to hijack the offense at any time. So they win as a team and lose as a team. Yep. And I commend him for that. I mean, he listens to his coach and he plays within the system, even if it's not exactly what is the most appealing to what he would be doing. Seriously. In some ways, if you play the system that Siakam thrives in, that Nick was doing, it's not a winning system. That's what's been proven. That's the problem. That's the problem right there, is that, we tried to do that with Siakam with the isolation stuff and Fred and OG and Norman. And it wasn't working. It wasn't winning. And we tried it. So, I mean, I don't blame Carlisle for I'm not going to build my whole offense around Siakam, because in some ways he saw how that worked in Toronto and just didn't add up to W's, which is unfortunate. He's a really good player. He's a really, really good player. Let's see. Smooth is saying Pascal has no regrets with the Raptors. He's thriving with the Pacers. Shev's got to let this go, man. Yeah, it's just toxic, and he has to let this go. You're exactly right. Siakam's in a fantastic place. We love him. He's a Raptors legend. He had such a successful year this year. He made us look good. He made Masai look good. That's what I'm saying right there. He's got to let this go. It's just ridiculous. Reggie's saying, and I've been ultra critical of Scotty and with Shev, even still, I know when to stop. When being critical becomes toxic, I draw the line. That's right. That's right there. And in some ways, we can really be watching how we act in this. I know our feelings will make us act out in toxic ways sometimes. And I know a lot of people are feeling it from you, Jerry, right? But in some ways, we got to make sure we're not adding to the problem. And that's what we got to assess right here. That's what we got to assess here, NBA Chef. Are you adding to the problem or are you helping? That's what it is. Let's see. Blackhawk's saying, I have the power, like he's He-Man. I like that. You like the He-Man reference. Smooth saying, to be fair, the Blue Jays have been having Caribbean and Pride nights as well. Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good sign. We'll have to see. I'm pretty sure Giants of Africa won't be back, but Caribbean night probably will still be around. That's a good sign. We know Giants of Africa won't be back, though, guys. We won't. And that's kind of coded in what they were saying, too. Like they're saying, we want basketball people to do basketball things. We want the basketball people to do basketball things. That could mean we want basketball people to run the team for basketball things, but also it could mean we don't want basketball people doing politics. It's basically that. You could look at that as two ways, and what Keith Pelly said. So, we want basketball people doing basketball things. Okay, you want the basketball people to run the basketball things. Yeah. Does that mean you don't want them to do Giants of Africa? You don't want them to do activism and charity in politics? That's what that might mean. Also, it's like, just do basketball. Just stick to basketball. Let's see. Wayne saying, I can buy that speculation that Rich changed course at the end, knowing what was going to happen. Yep, I'm buying. I mean, that makes sense. Winders, fenders up there. I mean, and the fact that he wanted to leak that clip too. Think about that. Why? That's really weird. Like, Rich Paul wouldn't be letting things out like this unless he wanted to let something out to let everybody have a little puzzle piece clue. And, he's not outright even talking about the Raptors in that clip, but he is basically, because he's talking about you're going to get him. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we can think about this logically. It sounded like that was a very thrown together call at the last second. He's in a car. He's moving. He's trying to do this quickly. He's saying, if you want him, you can have him right now. Just tell me right now. You want him? Yeah, I want him. I want him, Rich. Okay, you got Common Malawak. Yeah, you got him, Matashiba. You got that Common Malawak sweepstakes on the phone driving down the highway. I mean, seriously, let's think about this, like, all the way through here, guys. Smith saying Blue Jays are very involved in the community and very inclusive in the fan experience. It's not the same, though. It's not the same. You know that. You can look at the fan experience of the Blue Jays game and the fan experience of the Raptors game. Let's see if it's going to be more like the Blue Jays game and the Raptors game. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm only speculating. These could be forecastings that are not true and don't happen, but they could also happen, y'all. They could also happen. Trevor's saying, do y'all know what tactics basketball, just like watching basketball, only use their hands to play with the ball, never touches the floor? That sounds like just running with the ball. You got to pass it. Can you actually run with the ball, or do you have to like pivot and pass to the next person? Because there's basketball versions of this. Yeah, I've seen this kind of stuff, you know, where it's like that's actually how they used to play. In the very beginning of the NBA, you couldn't dribble the ball. You could only pass. And it was from passing from person to person. You could step 2 times and then you had to pass. And you had to run to the next spot and catch. And then you could step 2 times and then pass. There was no dribbling in the original NBA. So that's what this sounds like, Trevor J. That's what it sounds like right there. Dan, RO89, welcome. Thank you for the subscription. Welcome. We do this every morning at 9:30, talking Raptors every single day. And lately it's been for 3 hours. I'm trying to get my stream time back down to 2 hours, but it's a very hectic time with the firing of Masai Ujiri. Dan saying, going back to the Richard Petty dark days. I know. I hate that. I know them very well. And a lot of the newer, younger Raptor fans do not know what we're talking about. And y'all are going to not like this. Trust me. Seriously, I hope it's not going to be as bad as it is, but who knows? And Reggie's saying 100% it's personal. It's not basketball related at all. It's not. It's not. The firing of Ujiri was personal, and it was absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. Dan saying, I think we should add Nash to the front office. The Nets situation was always going to be a no-win for him. He's still a great basketball mind. That's an interesting idea, Dan. I don't disagree with that he's a great basketball mind. Now, I do know that Nash had a really bad experience in Brooklyn. Really, really bad. And he may be a little sensitive to taking another NBA job like this. You know what I'm saying? The other thing I know is that he's not a big fan of Toronto. I'm going to say that. I know because I personally met him and talked to him privately, like 25 years ago when I worked at a bar in Toronto. He was dating one of the bartenders, and he used to come in after hours and we'd hang out. And I used to pick his brain on all kinds of stuff. He told me he'd never play for the Raptors at that point. And this was like in 2000. I was like, why won't you play for the Raptors, Steve? And he said, well, it's because I'm a West Coast guy, Lex. And in some ways, I want to be on West Coast time. So I was surprised when he took the Nets job because that's the East Coast time. He's a West Coast guy. And that's why he always played on West Coast teams as a player. He played for the Lakers, the Mavericks, the Suns. And, Nash, I don't think he has any aspirations to be the president of the Raptors. As much as that would fit and be fun and nice, I think this dude's washed with the NBA because of his experience in Brooklyn. And he in some ways, he tarnished himself by doing that. And he may not want the opportunity to tarnish himself further with any kind of opportunity like this. So in some ways, I don't see it happening. I just don't. I think that he had such a bad experience with Brooklyn. It may have ruined him for being in the NBA in any capacity forever. Let's just put it that way. But it's a great idea, Dan. I hadn't thought about it. But I would tell you, just from personally talking to Steve Nash in the past, I don't think he'd take that job. I don't know if he'd feel totally comfortable doing that job and feeling like he would be able to do that job correctly, too, in some ways. Reggie's saying, hey, Lex, rather than hearing the info secondhand from us, watch Chev, his last video he just posted. I don't really have time for this. I have so much bullshit going on in my life right now, extracurricularly, that I don't have time for this right now. In some ways, if I had time to watch Chev and just hang out, watch his videos, I would, but I don't. I don't have it right now. I don't want to watch him. I really don't, because in some ways it's like once again, I don't want to rip him off, and I don't want to get mad at him either. I'll let y'all decide for me. Seriously, y'all watch him and tell me what you're saying. If there's multiples of y'all saying it, I'll believe it. If there's only one of y'all saying it, I may not believe it totally. But since there's multiples of y'all coming and telling me NBA Chef's off the chain right now and just not acting right, I'll believe them. I'll believe them then. Yeah. Yeah. Smooth saying, with Scotty playing the 5 and his thoughts as a whole, he's talking about Scotty playing the 5. I mean, I don't like Scotty playing the 5. I don't like the idea of that. But once again, I don't know. Darko's going to do what he's going to do. The front office is going to do what they're going to do. We're just going to have to see. Trevor's saying, power struggle is real, guys. People think you're too good. They will get rid of you. I've seen it for companies that I used to work for then, and when I use an independent as a contractor. Yeah, in some ways, it's unfair world, man. You could be a super, super good at your job like Ujiri, and you get what you get. You know what I'm saying? And this is a pattern with Ed Rogers. Like I said yesterday on the stream, he fired Muhammad, who used to be in charge of the wireless department of Rogers, even though he's immensely successful and made a whole bunch of money for Rogers as a company, and he was totally worth it. It's the same thing. He fired this guy, 15 years ago. Same kind of action. And in some ways, the Muhammad guy that he fired, he was actually the handpicked successor for Ted Rogers II that he wanted. Ted Rogers II wanted Muhammad to run Rogers, not his son. But his son hated that, and he strong-armed Muhammad out. And yeah, this is the action of Ed Rogers. This is how he works, guys, just so y'all know. This is how he works. Kaloy saying, I'm going to be positive here. It's different now with the Raptors being a $4 billion organization. They will be there, hire a good president, and they'll let them cook. They have to, or they'd be so stupid. I hope so. I hope so. Like I said, we just got to go forward with our eyes open, assess things, and hopefully things are being done positively and healthy and the right ways for the Raptors to be successful. That's what we want. Wayne saying tactics sounds like rugby. Americans love creating hybrid games, not going anywhere, not going nowhere. Prefer watching women's exiting supercars in Monaco. That's such a weird statement, Wayne. It's funny. All right, let me get my tabs and we'll get out of here. We got 10 minutes till 3 hours. I want to get out of here. Y'all, my straight goods on Canadian goods is highlighting IMAX, y'all. I don't know if y'all knew that IMAX Corporation is a Canadian corporation and that it is founded here in Canada in Montreal, and that IMAX movies are purely a Canadian thing. So if you're watching IMAX movies, you're actually supporting Canada. So IMAX, a Canadian company. I don't know if y'all knew that IMAX is a Canadian company. So go to IMAX movies if you can. It's a company centered up here in Canada. There you go. Let's see. I did the Instagram stories. Raptors Reddit. What are y'all talking about today? Messiah, Heart of a Lion. They're making fan art for him right now. I love this shit. This is so awesome. He's in some ways a martyr in some ways for the Raptors franchise at this point, guys. He really is. DeAndre Ayton buyout? No, we don't want anything to do with that, Raptors Reddit. What are y'all doing there, man? What are y'all doing there? They're worried about the backup center here. How much money do the Raptors have to pay potential free agents? And who are some good signings? This guy's asking this. Well, let's kind of look at this. Let's see what people are saying. We have no money, and we're over the tax, so we will look to shed money. Cap isn't totally fucked, but it's not great. That's what we're saying. We're currently $20,000 under the tax with 14 players in the roster. We're also extremely close to the first apron because of unlikely incentives and IQ, RJ, and Yak's contracts. We can sign free agents using exceptions, but it would increase pressure to shed money before the trade deadline. So, yeah, some other bullshit like that. Yeah. And this is where the impetus people say they need to trade RJ comes from. Undrafted guard Chucky Hepburn said he models his game after Fred VanVleet. Here he is at his own draft watch party, giving the same type of speech Fred gave in 2016 because he didn't get drafted and he had people out. He had to do this thing that Fred had to do. And, he's modeling Fred in that way, too. I guess, yeah. And I mean, I know, Mo, I was saying it's not special that people have draft parties because everybody has them. But I guess it is special when you have a draft party and you don't get drafted and you have to do what Fred and Chucky had to do. Yeah, that's right. Let's see what else we got on here. Nothing else here that much. Like, I don't anyway, they're talking about Ben Simmons and DeAndre Ayton way too much on there. Way too much on there. So I'm going to go away from there for right now. Let's see. Oh, great. There's a report out saying that there's tons of calls coming in saying that the ICE agents are sexually assaulting people that they're taking. Suicide attempts, head injuries, all kinds of stuff's going on crazy. And ICE places down south. Great. That's just messed up. All right. I guess I'll get out of here then. There's no birthday today, guys. It's just happened to be a birthday. Oh, we got to do the card. Let's get the card done. And yeah, there's no birthday today, which is weird, man. No birthday on the last day of June. But there is a birthday tomorrow, and that'll be Andrew Jones. Let's see. Mo saying congratulations to Lenny Wilkens. Yeah, thanks, Mo. Guys, the Seattle team is not back in Seattle yet, but they put up a new statue this weekend commemorating Lenny Wilkens as a player coach, a champion for the Seattle Supersonics in '79. They put up a statue of our former coach, Lenny Wilkens, in Seattle. And it's early because the team's not even back yet, and they're going to have a statue for him already outside of this. It's really interesting climate responsibility arena or something like that. Is the name of the arena? It's something like climate something. Like they're going to, I don't know. Either way, here's the classic card, guys. Full name answer, please. This is a hard one. In some ways, I think we got this card before. You know what? We had this card before. I don't want to do this card again. I think we did that card before. I don't want to do it again. Oh, I think we've done this one too. I think I'm starting to get into the area where it's like the same cards over and over again. a little bit. Okay, we'll do this one. This one's fine. This is a Seattle Supersonics card. Why not? Here we go. Here's the classic card of the day. Who is that? Full name answer. It's a coach. Full name answer on the classic card today. Climate Pledge Arena. That's what it is. Yeah, Climate Pledge. That's a good name for it. I like it. I like it. Who is the name of this coach? Yeah, first and last name, please. And he has a connection to Lenny Wilkins, which is kind of funny. Climate Pledge Arena. There you go. Casey Jones, of course. That is Casey Jones, of course. All right, Reggie. Reggie, I think this is your first points for this season on the trivia. Our trivia champion has finally entered the chat of trivia points for the season. So smooth. I'm going to give you, I feel like he's easy. I'm going to put 50 on it. It's just 50. He's a pretty recognizable coach. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. Monday Moment, the Raptors rookies enjoying themselves this weekend with a TFC game and all kinds of cool stuff. They're probably like, this is one of the funnest weekends of my life. Coming to the city. It's funny that one clip showed Elijah and Colin looking at the CN Tower. He's like, I keep seeing the CN Tower, man. And it's just so cool. And he's like, this city is so beautiful. It's kind of cool to hear the rookies unfiltered opinions about Toronto and just arriving here and just the awe they are of the city. And just like, wow, I get to play and this is the city I'm playing for now. You know, you can really see where guys get motivated to play hard for us. When they see what the city's like, they meet some of the people and they walk around the city and they see how the fans are. You can see where they get the gumption to show and come correct for the Raptors on the basketball court. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Oh, man. All right, I got to go. Thanks for watching me today, guys. Raptors rookies, enjoy it. Soak it in. It's a beginning of a new journey. Hopefully this journey will be full of lots of success in Raptors jersey. That's what we want. That's right. Fiercely said, we'll be fine, fam. Sending positive vibes. Masai laid a solid foundation. I hope that they don't try to destroy it. And I hope that we can continue to be striving for success and one of the best records in the NBA. Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Hold it together. Stay strong. Don't go toxic. And stay with your eyes and ears wide open. And don't trust anything you hear or see these days. Trust me. There's all kinds of bullshit out there at this point. Let's go Tempo and Raptors.